It is 1:31 probably now. We are here for our Karnes County Budget Workshop, our scheduled meeting for our first budget workshop, special meeting, and we do have a quorum present. Let's stand for a prayer and pledge and then we'll start.
Okay, Lord, we come for you now. We thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the opportunities and the blessings that you present us on a daily basis, Lord. You're just too good for us. Help us to make decisions not only in our budget process, but in our lives that are pleasing and glorifying to you, Lord. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Ms. Leal, do we have anybody signed up to speak this morning?
Yes, Ms. Chairman.
All right, Ms. Judge Kurzekwa.
Okay, just a few thoughts before the process begins. Every department head was given an opportunity to present and discuss their budgets with their head. None of us should be here asking for more than we previously requested. The items we truly need were put in our shopping cart. We shouldn't get to throw in impulse items like those in Walmart and H-E-B by the registers at the last minute. Whether elected or not, maintaining our departments within our budget should be equally important. We are elected and paid by the citizens of this county and owe that to them. Gentlemen, please consider the construction projects as well. Did a $3 million budget really need to jump to $5.5 billion with very little discussion? And there are other projects to consider. What is wrong with multi-purpose rooms and furnishings that fulfill the need versus the prestige? Yes, Karnes County has money in the bank right now. Spend it wisely. Concentrate on the quality and the functionality with growth in mind. Be first and foremost, requiring professionally well-built foundations, walls, electrical, and plumbing. What matters is what's underneath. It'd be like wearing pajamas and then throwing on a diamond necklace, or wearing shorts and flip-flops and then putting on a tie and a tuxedo jacket. Foundation matters. Justify all the expenses and investigate them. And by the way, the JPs still are all happy with LGS. Our final contract is drawn up and on Ms. Tapia's desk for approval.
Thank you, Judge.
Any others signed up to speak this morning, Ms. Leal?
None. Okay, item number 6, we'll convene into our budget workshop for fiscal year 25-2026. I'm the author of that. Just some opening remarks. Most of the court outside of Commissioner Beatrick has heard this spiel before, and as Judge Kurzekwa stated, I do meet with each and every department head that chooses to come and meet with me, elected officials, and we go over line by line their budget. And that's how I put the budget together. A lot of you have heard me say this. However, I told Justin, who was my previous admin assistant, chief of staff, whatever we call him, when I told Justin that that's how I was going to do budget after watching how budget had been conducted in the past, where it was a bloodbath and it was, it was terrible. And Justin freaked out. He's like, that is not going to go good enough. So I'm so worried about it. But I believe if you ask 99% of the employees and department heads and elected officials, it is a good process. And as Judge Kurzekwa stated, what the court has in front of them is the numbers that the department heads and elected officials have given me. There is nothing, there are no surprises here. I know a couple commissioners were out asking around about things. Commissioner Beatrick reached out to me yesterday and asked if he could come and visit with me just to understand the budget process and understand some line items and how that goes, and I greatly appreciate that. So that being said, Tom has put together, I was able to get this budget out to the commissioners a week earlier than what the timeline that I based this budget process off of. There are statutory dates, legal dates that we have to meet for this budget. And Tom gets those numbers sometimes, there at the last minute. And I understand, there are times where we have, last minute thing. We had new administration, with the sheriff's department that we're working through an inherited budget, and trying to figure out how that new budget works, for the new administration. Tom got all those things crunched in, I think 5:30. I thank Tom for his help. It's a lot of work. Yeah, it's, so I give Tom, and Tom and I sit down and we meet together for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it takes. And he gets those numbers, and those are transcribed directly into the budget that you see today. Outside of a number, we'll talk about some salary stuff that are $9 off. And those are things that we can fix pretty easily, but the majority of it it's a lot of work. And I thank Tom, I thank all the elected officials, the department heads, that come in and do meet with me and take the time to do that, because it's important. We're spending taxpayer dollars. So it's very, very important that we are aware of that, and we do it mindfully. Budget changes for this year. Just some quick hitters, new positions to add. The sheriff's office are going to be a couple of resource officers that we are contracting those folks that listen to court, come to court. Know that Commissioner Gatrick was approached for some school resource officers in Kennedy. So those are included there. The highway patrol office, Sergeant Liggins called me last night as I was pinning 70 plus burner cows, and said that he needed to not include that because it would take away the $16,000 and some change that goes to Gina, who is the highway patrol secretary in Wilson County. So that will back out of there. We will put the numbers back in for Gina until she decides to retire, and then whatever the highway department.
So these numbers are the total package, it's not what we're going to be paying the individual, that includes.
Correct.
Retirement.
Correct.
So everyone knows.
And so that number comes into the 159, 173.12. The highway patrol office, again, that's gonna back out, and we'll reinsert that number. It's 16,800 and something, I believe. Information technology, for an additional IT gentleman to go into, Jimmy's office. Jimmy is severely overworked, does a wonderful job, him and Patrick both. But we do need another one, and when I put this this department together for IT, it was kind of similar to the HR, and you got to get them in there, see what that need is, and sometimes that need grows, and then sometimes needs need to be reduced because they are no longer needed. So total new employees, 251, 568, 48. Some other changes that we have, a new fund in capital outlay initial funding. Tom, I'm going to let you highlight that, the $17,870,566. Within that capital outlay, I'll go over that in a second. Sheriff's office, we have some overtime for dispatch and overtime for law enforcement, similar to some things that we did with EMS to get that EMS situation fixed up. And the dispatch comes out to $26,235. The overtime law enforcement comes out to $76,692. And the criminal justice center overtime for jailers is going to be $107,427.88. Your criminal justice center sheriff has decided that he wanted to split the jail away from the admin side of it. And so you're going to see that, commissioners, you'll see that you have on your criminal justice center. You don't have a history of any budget there yet. So it's a new, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to work well. Budget enhancements for the new capital outlay fund include annex repairs of $2 million. Archive building project, $400,000. We've already spent some money there. Audio upgrades, $50,000. The CAD system, $376,170. EMS unit, $399,000. The Gillette EMS station, $2 million. Jail facility equipment, $495,396. Facility improvements, $250,000. Security upgrades, $500,000. Justice of the Peace office furniture is going to be $50,000 when we get that built. The JP2 and JP4 office buildings to house our Justice of the Peaces, amongst other things. We budgeted $4 million, $2 million apiece there. Rungy EMS station, that's $2 million. And the EMS training facility, $5.350 million. Other budget enhancement include your courthouse maintenance fund, and that's $4 million for the courthouse renovation. Another little highlights here, this budget will raise more revenue from property taxes than last year's budget by an amount of $310,850, which is a 1.2620% increase from last year's budget. The property tax revenue to be raised from new property added to the tax roll this year is $85,349.97. That's excluding the ones that we sold this morning. Those will roll back on. The total budget that we are looking at today, which is crazy to me. My first year's budget 7 years ago was roughly $36 million, and we're looking at a $73,106,897.11 budget. Those are my opening remarks. Commissioners, if you have anything. Yes.
What you also on your that amount, if we're looking to have that one, then it would be $215,900.
Thank you for that, Matt. Thank you for that, Matt. I can answer any questions.
Judge, what the facility improvement, $250,000. You know what that's for?
Facility improvement.
For all facilities?
You need your microphone on and talk into it so they can hear you.
Okay. I was just wondering about the, where we would put the $250,000 for paving the parking lot at the Showboat.
I didn't know, that was not a request from you whenever you met with me, so I didn't put that in the budget.
Well, when we were in court, you said you would rather put $250,000 in the budget this year than give it to the Showboat.
I would rather make a donation to the show more, not in the amount of $250,000. I don't think anybody's in favor of that.
I think you said $250,000.
I wouldn't be in favor of $250,000.
Well, I'd like to put $250,000 in the budget to pay the parking lot for the Showboat. It benefits the whole county.
When we gave money to the, y'all remember, I think both of the commissioner on my left and right were on the court at the time. When the Escondido Creek Parkway came in and asked for money that benefited the whole county, we gave the Escondido Creek Parkway, I believe, $40,000. And we did that because we knew that the city of Karnes City, the city of Rungy, and the city of Ball City were also going to come and ask for a donation to their park, which they did. And so we did $40,000 a piece that represented, that took care of each precinct in the county. I thought about that, I think that's a fair number to give to the show barn, since it does, the whole county uses it. But $250,000 in my opinion is, that's a lot of money. A lot of money, taxpayer money.
It'd be well spent. The whole county uses it. We use it for inoculations during COVID.
COVID's over.
We may have something. We use it for food bank. We use it for our hazardous pickup. And the livestock show. All the prospect shows that they have benefit all the kids in the county. So I'm in favor of donating $250,000 to the youth livestock show to pay the parking.
I'm going to help support paving the parking lot out there, but 250,000 sounds more than any of the numbers I heard previously. Wayne, I know you're here. I'm sorry to catch you off guard, so do you recall we had a couple different estimates for paving the parking lot at the showgrounds? One of them was if we were doing the work, one is if we were,
Correct.
hiring somebody out. Can you recall generally about
If
how
we
much?
were, yeah, and I'm going off of memory, but if we were doing the work, if we were gonna be able to do it somewhere around 120,000, I think. If we have to outsource it, it's gonna go up to probably a little bit less than the $250,000, but it'll be in the $200,000 plus range, so that wouldn't be under the back. I can, if you guys want me to, I can dig it out on my phone, see if I can do that for you.
Again, I don't think that this needs to be an agreement between the county. We give money to soil and water conservation. We donate money to CASA. We donate money to CAS. We give these donations, and I'm happy to do that because I'm a big supporter of the county show and the kids and the families that put the time into it. You'll see me there throughout the show and at the sale. I buy and I donate. I'm happy to put some money in the budget, but as a donation, but the county doesn't need to be in any type of agreement, maintenance of it. Let the show board go out and get bids and continue to raise money for that. You know, a lot of the money, part of the money that those kids raise, that goes back to the show board to make improvements, and they've done some incredible improvements.
You said that you would rather donate $250,000 for paving to limit liability to the county, and would rather do it after we put it in this year's budget.
I don't believe that I said that. And you know, you've got it written down, or somebody wrote it down for you. I don't know if you just pulled that off of YouTube, but I promise you, $250,000 never came out of my mouth. That wasn't even on the bid that MOU or whatever you handed out that morning.
Well, if we make a donation, it won't be a contract. And we make donations to all those other things that you pointed. Every year, this will be a one-time thing.
Correct, it would be a one-time donation.
When we were talking about the parking lot, one of the deals was that we wanted it to be a shared expense because we thought we were to donate it all and then have to take care of it. It wouldn't be fair. Again, I support making a donation. I think it should not be an amount that covers the entire cost because I think the showgrounds owns the property. They're going to keep it. I think they need to have some skin in the game so they maintain it as well.
They got skin in the game when they built the facility and keep improving.
Can you put your mic up so they can hear you?
They got skin in the game because they built the facility and they keep improving it. We have an event out there that they have an event. It's the biggest event that we have in the county. And other counties are trying to get them that have better facilities than we got. And if we don't get it paved, they're not going to stay.
Are you talking about the barbecue?
I sure am.
What does that have to do with the county?
The money it brings to the county.
What I'd be totally comfortable with the number closer to $50,000. It would be, let's say, half of maybe a projected cost of paving. It would get us going somewhere, keep us, well, we're not liable for maintaining it, but I don't think we donate enough to the pool.
If we make a donation and let them pay it, we won't be liable.
That's why I would support making donations.
Just excuse me, have you found the number yet?
No, sir, I'm looking for it, if y'all want. Give me a few minutes, I can actually run across the hall and probably find it.
I think it'd be in a one-time donation. I think we need to do what we can to help for our youth. The show has been around since, forever. And I know there's a lot of kids that go in there, there's a lot of kids that look forward to it. There's a lot of kids in towns that can't raise animals. They are part of the homemaking section of it, and it's in a fun, exciting time, and for a lot of them, it gives them the opportunity to go out and do something personally with their folks. I do want to improve those facilities or help improve those facilities in any way. I understand what the judge and Commissioner Diaz are saying as far as the whole amount. But having said that, I do believe that we are blessed, and there's no better way to give back to our community than to be able to have better facilities. And if we can do that as a community, then I'm for doing more than $50,000. I do agree that we need to have some skin in the game. I do believe that used to be something that, it's a donation. It does take out of the usage that we have, or we're using it for. But I would like to find out the final number before we go forward, in my opinion.
Well, excuse me, my voice is bad today. Sorry about that. My opinion on it is, it's like the judge said, we give once, we're gonna keep giving and giving and giving. I don't mind helping at all, I don't mind, but the county does do a lot. We take care of the roads, we have the courthouse, we have all the buildings, we have first responders. The county does plenty already. And I understand that this place has been lending that to the county, and we've been using that facility back and forth. I don't mind doing something for it, but I'm not in agreement for $250,000. I will not be in agreement for that. I'm in an agreement with, for some, maybe a portion of that, maybe the 40 like the judge said, maybe even 50 like Commissioner Beatrix said. But 250, I'm not in agreement with that. Not even 100,000. I think that would be good enough, because I can guarantee you, we us five sit up here and everyone watches this. There will be more places that say, we also help you, we also help you, we also help you, we want a percentage, and we're gonna end up giving and giving and giving. I don't mind, but I've sat here for many, many years. We provide services for the community, EMS, I think we do plenty. I really honestly think we do plenty for everyone. I personally help everyone, I won't ask for nothing back, so. Sometimes if you help people, just do it out of your heart, don't, just do it out of your heart.
I found it on our agendas back in March 25th. So if it is an issue, we can have Jamie's office, if not today, maybe tomorrow, look up the minutes and you can see
Sure.
exactly.
And I can give you time to find that.
I have copies of it, I'm sure, in all of this still.
So March 25th.
Yes, ma'am. And it was item number 12. And the way we approached it in that meeting, it was put on as a lease agreement with the Karnes County Youth Show.
Does that have a number on there, a monetary number?
We didn't have.
There wasn't an attachment, it was handed out the morning of.
Judge, may I say something?
Yes, sir.
It's regarding to do with this, but it's about people, businesses that help other people and everything. Just throwing it out there. I have a girl, she's my assistant at the office, and I told her, hey, I want to know, what did I give out last month in July, helping out with this dance hall that I have here, helping out the community, helping out cities, county, whoever needs to use it for cancer patients, diabetes, whatever it may be. I gave out $9,700 in July, just through the hall, donating it to people for the use of it. I don't expect anything back, I don't want anything back, I just do that from here.
There was no action taken, Judge, on that.
Right.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, there was a contract, what the judge said, instead of having a contract and a liability, it will make a donation.
I stand behind that still. Any questions about the budget? I've got a couple of other things. I see that, Tom, when, on the IT budget, I didn't see that we budgeted for, Jimmy's second in the budget that the commissioners have. So we'll need to add that second
Like,
position
well, all
in there.
these positions, Judge, are not added to the budget.
Okay,
Those
okay.
we all discussed.
Okay, good, that's where you have it. Okay, so that's there. I got the no new DPS admin assistant. The veteran Blake walked in this morning and told me that, he needed an additional $1,000 in his, conference expense. And then, grant writer, we don't have, I wanted to create a grant position. The thinking behind that is we pay, we go out and we get grants, and sometimes there's a match, but we pay a grant administrator a 6% fee. And if we had a grant writer in-house, that person could look for more grants, and if we got $1 million grant, and we don't have to pay that 6% on it, that pays the salary of a grant writer one time. So, I'd like to put that in there, for the commissioner to consider adopting as the overall budget. I wanted to do it the same that we did the EMC budget, and that would be Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, starting out at the $50,000 with the fringe.
The 50,000?
Yes, sir.
Do you want that as a separate department?
Yes, yes.
Who oversees that? The commissioner's court, the judge's office, and that department?
I'm fine with the court or just myself, whatever y'all want to do. Oversee, but yeah, I'm happy to do that. Michelle and I work, hand in hand with it so much. Yes.
So the judge's office overseeing it?
Does that mean we'd be going away from Langford, or is
It would be.
part
We
of-
have to, once we finish out the grants with him, all new grants will go. I know Ronnie's doing a great job in the sheriff's office, digging up grants and stuff.
So right now, Judge, we pay a 6% fee on all the grants that we receive.
6%, yeah, that's what like Langford, any grant management company that we use, there's a 6% fee.
That is not covered by any grants. That's something they take out of that,
That's what they take out of that.
but it's paid by the grants.
So if we don't get grants.
The match, so they're gonna take that 6%, if the county has $100,000 match, or if the county, trying to think like when we got, when I worked on the, fiber with the boot grant, that was kind of a last minute deal where somebody approached me at the last minute and said, hey, this grant, and I presented it to the court. We approved for that brownstone / what was Pam's, not Connected Nation anymore, but those people they approach, so they get those folks, whenever they go out and they secure those grants, they get a portion of that. Now, the breakdown, Tom would have to break the exact, what comes out of the match and what comes out of the total award for the grant.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner, but I think he was asking if we don't get any grants, if we don't go out for any grants from nothing, do they still get a 60%?
They do not, no, we have, no.
Because there's no money for them to
Right.
grab it from.
Right.
Do anyone know the amount of grants that we get per year? $1 million, $2 million, $3 million?
Tom, that may be a number that you could pick
Have
up.
anything in our head like that?
It's so specific, like we've worked on, and Wayne's helped a lot with it on drainage projects, and we've worked with Doucette. We put together, and we have shovel-ready projects, right? So whenever a grant comes available, we can say, hey, here's we have plans, we have in every precinct, we've identified roads, bridges, drainage. A lot of those grants are GLO grants for the General Land Office. And so we have projects identified, engineered, that are ready to go. We were finalists for that, whenever Kennedy got their water line grant, we were finalists right there that was a $40-something million project, 43 million, I believe, is what that was that we submitted, and then Kennedy ended up getting it.
I don't know too many grant writers. You think we can get a grant writer for 50?
I do.
on
Yes,
this?
sir.
Commissioners, on this? Okay, I think this sounds like a pretty good idea, and I understand the 6%. I understand that we have one on staff looking at all grants.
All
the
grants.
time, every day,
All
every single
grants.
day.
All
Looking not just at one particular grant, but grants throughout.
Not just the GLO, or not just
Yes.
like the home
Yeah.
grant project. And somebody to manage the ones that we do have. Because, I mean, David knows, because he's in more often, how the home grant, as wonderful as a program that it's busy. I mean, Michelle has people in our office, two came in today. Great paperwork, gotta make copies. Michelle's gotta explain, well, you're missing this, but yeah, it's a lot.
But still be overseeing that, right? Like,
I mean, we wouldn't just give it over
No.
to any person because they have to get acclimated.
of course.
But it's a lot, it is a lot, and one thing, if I can interject, is there's so much out there that we're losing. It.
Not losing, but just not benefiting from, because,
Yeah.
you know, Michelle and myself are doing it.
So we're missing the boat on a lot of them.
Potentially, I mean, we don't know that for sure, but there are grants. I mean, like I said, Ronnie Blake has received grants from the VSO. So Beth gets the grants. So, and that one that we talked about it in court, that was a similar deal. And I believe that the state does that on purpose, but, you know, it goes back to, luckily, we have a wonderful election administrator, and Beth stays on top of her stuff, and she knows that, oh gosh, we're ready for it. Just like that $43 million project that, you know, we put together, we've been working on. You know, as they come available, we may not get funded that $43 million, but we may get funded $10 million, and we can chop away at it, you know, little by little, section by section. A lot of times those grants come in and they've got to be low to mid income wise, and so that eliminates the northern half of the county. And you know, I've done bridges for Runge, working on a couple of other things right now, El Oso, water lines improvements. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and I'm not complaining about it. I love my job. Everybody knows I hate the politics, but I love the job, and I continue rock and roll with it.
No, Wayne, we got 14 million like that.
No, that was a county infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, and we're losing that.
Didn't Wayne like that?
Wayne wasn't even here whenever CTF started. It was back in 2014, I think, when Judge Fowler and the other judges, I think Judge Teal was involved with that at the legislature.
Really did.
Okay.
Judge, I really honestly think this is a good idea, because I do think we're probably missing out on a lot of grants out there that we don't know about, that this person, he or she can go out and grab them. Now, being that the judge's office would be in charge of that, could maybe the commissioner's court get a quarterly report?
Absolutely.
I would
A monthly report,
A
you know,
monthly report.
just like Blake gives, Justin's here, my new EMC, Justin, you know, we're walking him through, how to give reports. Beth gives reports. Everybody, for the most part, your JPs, you know, they all get their reports. Constables get their report monthly. It doesn't need to be quarterly, monthly.
Just to show the public that.
Absolutely.
That's at 50,000.
Absolutely.
Look what we're doing. So they can be happy.
Yeah.
So Judge, if I may, I'm sorry.
If I may, I just wanted to speak, from the veteran perspective for TVC, there's a tremendous amount of grants out there, and I can't manage it.
Yeah.
I have too much going on, I'm overwhelmed in my office, I know that this office is overwhelmed as it is, so I can't manage it. We're missing out on a lot of funding that when I'm sitting here going for my outreach, trying to say, hey, I need rural resources here brought to the county to help our veterans, most of it's grant funded, and if you don't know how to navigate that, or understand the protocol or whatever, you can wind up in a lot of trouble real quick. So that's actually slowed us down a lot just from the Veteran Services Office alone. A position like this would be groundbreaking to get us the help that we need to really impact our veterans.
I'm going to remember that.
Tom, we'll include that for the commissioners to
Would that,
within the budget.
would that help? Would that be the reason why we didn't get our Senate Bill 22?
No, that was my fault. That was my fault. Only my fault. We got it the year before,
$525,000.
and we had to send that back, and we're currently, I sent it to Tom, the other day. The comptroller is questioning how the 300 and something thousand that the sheriff's office did spend, they're still questioning if that was spent correctly. It is, Senate Bill 22 has been a mess. I'm applying for it again, in hopes that we do get that funding. Talked to Ronnie a little bit about it again yesterday. The salaries were, we did not qualify for the salaries. We sent the county attorney, we have to send that, all that money back plus interest. It has been a mess. It has really been a mess, and I'm not the only judge that has had those problems. But thank you for asking.
Judge, if I may go back to the grant writer. So, I mean, the way I'm seeing this is, so we have one person in office, and any department head is able at that point to identify a grant and to pick them up and call and say, hey, I want to go for this.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
I mean, with all the departments that we have, I imagine the department heads will probably be pretty aggressive.
And not only with that, but like we met with myself and Casey and Commissioner Gadrick met with representative from Monica De La Cruz's office, and she has a program now. Again, it's got a, they say shovel-ready jobs because, but you're, and they want them shovel-ready, but it's a 2-year process, we found out. So, you know, we're out there, we're looking, we're trying, and we don't want to miss those. I've given it to Commissioner Lissy to start applying for that now for our JP2 office. I mean, that can be a shovel-ready job that, you know, that if we would have got ahead of it, hey, let's give it to them. Same thing on these other jobs. It's probably too late. It's too late for our EMS training facility, probably too late for JP2 and JP4. However, there are other projects that as we look forward and grow, what do we want to do? You know, what in 5 years, 6 years? What does this look like? Do we have a project that potentially we can get congressional funding from that?
But just so just to follow through that, let's say this grant writer gets inundated. In other words, there's 15 people that are wanting to come in and get my grants, or 10. And so she's out there looking, or he's out there looking, whatever, and they identify 20 grants.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that one person can do? And if not, then does
I-
that fall back to y'all? Do y'all help come back?
We'll help, and again, it's growth, and sometimes you don't know how you're gonna grow until you start growing, right? We didn't know how IT was gonna grow. We didn't know how human resources was gonna grow, but we started growing, and we adapted as we grow. And so, you know, Jimmy, hey, it's a major deal. Jimmy needs help. Elaine, you know, whenever we started with, you know, Lacey, rest her soul, we started her, and she got the position up and running, and it turns out it's a lot more involved. You know, Vi did it, you know, out of the kindness of her heart for forever, with the help of Michelle, whenever she was with the auditor's office. You know, they had some help, but that position grew, but when we started that growth. So if that became the case, that's a good problem to have, because that means you're bringing in money that's not directly Karnes County taxpayer money. It's all taxpayer money in the end, you know. But yes, that's something that you monitor.
So, Judge, for me, I need to go, like, sit to my section.
Sure.
So if the commissioners are okay, I'll just start and
Sure.
we'll jump in and stop. First thing I noticed was, administrative assistant under county judge,
$9
short, and Miss Michelle, $9, so I'd like to give that back to her.
I would too.
Thank you, I
She would
appreciate
like
that. Yes, thank you.
Time coffee.
$9 may not buy it.
Ready for the lottery ticket, you know?
Second would be county clerk, and I did visit with Ms. Jamie, and I'm gonna ask if she'll explain, you know, her, on her deal. I know there's some salary changes and stuff, and there's some,
Right.
not turmoil, but there's some, a little bit of uncertainty here in the department with Carol stepping aside and Jamie's doing that well, so if you wouldn't mind just explaining to everybody.
Yeah, so just for transparency and clarity, it looks like on paper I'm asking for 5 people, but what it is when Carol left office and I took over, I did not hire a chief deputy clerk. And so last fiscal year, we only budgeted in the GO code for deputy clerks, we only budgeted for 3 deputy clerks and then 1 chief deputy. With me taking over, I did not choose that chief deputy, so now I need 4 girls under GO code chief deputy, but still leaving the GO code chief deputy, the 1050. In the event that this fiscal year I decide to give a promotion to the 4 current clerks that I have, they would just be their salary would be paid out of that GO
Right.
code. Okay.
You might move up one, up to the main
Right.
chief deputy,
My current
out of the 4.
4,
Okay.
right. The current 4 that I have would just be a promotion.
Yes. As of right now, you don't have a main chief
I do
deputy.
not have a.
Correct.
But you put into the deputy clerks the lion's share of the salary for the deputy clerk, is that correct?
Right.
Yes.
And then in the chief deputy, the 1050, we're just gonna add the 5,000, that would be the increase of
Gotcha.
salary.
Okay.
for that.
Thank you.
When I make a comment about the salaries, so the treasurer's office provided me a worksheet that shows each amount by each person. I have to manually put that in, the system doesn't just bring it in. So I assume these numbers are correct. I didn't go back and verify what was happened before last year, so.
All employees need to, or department heads need to go through their budgets that are being presented and considered today, and make sure that not only your staff, but your position, yourself are not losing. There's another one, Commissioner Beatrick, caught another one that's $9 short, and so I don't know if that's coincidence that they were both roughly that $9 and change.
Judge, I haven't done that because like I said in my proposal to you, I mean, it's my understanding that that responsibility was the treasurer's. And they've got all the information.
There's a
So
report.
I mean, I'm expecting that to be done by the treasurer per the thing that was passed last year.
Okay.
As a department head.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Sir.
Go ahead. Oh.
All right, so this will be on page 431. Electronic purchases, 100, 400, 403, 43, 52. It was blank. I'm just wondering, I know the telephones, I got a sheet today.
That is in county clerk's electronic purchases.
Sure, just on the second page of the page that I've been handing out to you guys today, all electronic purchases
Okay.
on the back sheet is
Uh-huh.
out, and the telephone and the hotspot.
Okay, good thing.
Okay, okay, that's good.
Well, Judge met with the department, so, you know, everyone agreed that would be under Jimmy's.
That was for what, Tom?
The electronic purchases, hotspots, and
Oh,
telephone.
got it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. So the Odyssey subscription, which is 100, 403, 43, 56. We budgeted last year 27,196.96, and we spent 29,613.43. And we budgeted 28,535.81. I was just wondering, is that too low? Do we need to up that a little bit?
That's a number that Odyssey gives
They're
us.
real numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went through the invoice and
Okay.
I backed up all the offices, county attorney's office, sheriff's department.
Right.
So why did they go up? Why did we spend more this year, than what we budgeted?
Did we add an additional like license where, you know, is it
I
some?
believe if you look at county attorney's office went down, they were, they're equal.
The what now?
The county attorney's budget, if you look, I think it was, theirs went down, what we budgeted last year. It might have been just the way it allocated.
Okay, so the whole 5 is exchanged for the whole 5, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's a real number that Odyssey gives us.
Also, this is county clerk, I just question, we have a $9,450 budgeted for office equipment. Was one new.
That was for the new copy machine.
Commissioners, please stop me at any time. Veteran service, there was $1,000 added, what was that added, Jeff?
We're gonna add that to his conference expense, needs to go from 1,000 to 2,000 ton.
Yeah, for an explanation on that, sir, I wasn't aware that I had 2 different trainings that matched up in the same billing cycle. Because when I first came on, they were in separate cycles. So now where we're at, both of them are going to be one in April and one in July to maintain my certification. So one of them is always in Dallas, and the other one is generally in San Antonio. And the Dallas one eats up the entire budget, which is only $1,000. So I'm just asking for an increase to 2,000 so that I can handle the localized training as well.
Okay, thank you. Next to, no, I don't think that one. So it would be Department 409 on page 6 of 31. Item 2042, on line item, yeah. The Karnes County Fire Department contribution, is that a donation, and if so, what is that for? Is it just a community outreach, is it?
13,088 now.
Yes, sir.
That's what we,
Should be for the rest of the fund.
yeah. Say it again,
It should
Casey.
be, I believe the county has always given a donation to the Karnes City Fire Department to fund a rescue truck for the county.
Okay.
I think the jaws of life is involved.
Yes,
in that.
Yes.
It's an annual contribution.
Sure. Thank you, Casey.
And then item, same department, item 4020, the gas B75 valuation.
SB 75 is a Tom, it's the auditors,
Yeah, so they have to value our benefits, health, and so on and so forth, and that's every other year, the big one, and the small one is like 50 years.
Okay, I just noticed it was 5,000 cheaper, so I was like, well, good deal. So this will be on, still 409, on the cop seat, no, I'm gonna scratch that one. So the special counsel fees, 409, 4995. I mean, we only spent 10,000 last year. With all the buildings that we have going on now, it's my understanding that that's kind of the outside stuff, for like the construction attorneys, if we go after people or if they mess up. Do we need to increase that dollar amount?
we've got it at 50, we've only spent 10 so far.
I'm just wondering, just because of the 2 service centers, 2 EMSs, the training facility, records, is there anything that we need to probably go in and just to cover ourselves, or do we?
Hopefully not, but I mean,
Okay.
if y'all want to increase it, go to the court.
I don't think so, I think 50 would be fine.
I think it's fine.
Jennifer, what do you think?
It depends on the attorney firm, what their hourly rates are, those vary depending on, what area of Texas they're located in.
We don't have nothing written in stone right now, so that could be unforeseen if it does jump to 50.
I'm sorry?
It could be unforeseen if it does jump to 50,000.
Absolutely.
So we could jump into contingency?
Yeah, so
If we had to,
we
yeah.
have to, that will
Yeah.
just keep it at
Right, if
50,
you don't want
invest
to.
the rest of the money.
I'd like to go back a page if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
On still section 409, 4070, outside billing service fees. I believe that's probably where we have the EMS billing, correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Last year we budgeted 90,000 and we've already spent 96,699. We have $100,000 budgeted. I think that might need to be increased personally. Year prior, we spent $111,000.
Commissioner, I did some just rough math, because that too, I wanted to see what was identified, so we're on forecast to be 1.5 million in revenue this year, 1.53. So 7.72 is our current fee structure with our billing company, so that's about 116,000 is kind of the target, so I would agree slightly increase it. The more money we collect, the more money we're obviously by default gonna pay, because it's 7.72% of our net receivable we pay them, so, I would agree with that.
So you would suggest increasing it?
I would suggest an increase in 116. That's just a number that I ran just based upon, again, a 1.5 forecast revenue for fiscal year 25. And so if we bill more money in extra, that number still could be low, and we still may overexpend it. But I think 116 is based upon an accurate assumption of a 1.5 receivable.
I think, well, let's do 120, let's up it a little bit. Tom, you got that 409, 47.
On page 7, item 409, 4872, health reimbursement expense, we have $50,000 budgeted. So far, we've spent $62,961. I was hoping I'd get a little more explanation on the health reimbursement.
We talked about, Commissioner Beatrick and I talked about that yesterday a little bit. The health reimbursement expense, does that have to do with our insurance? That's a TAC thing, right? Now it's a TAC thing?
It's a task.
TASC, T-A-S-C.
Correct. It's an outside.
So the cards that you get that you don't know if you have money on them or not, that you just show up in the mail, that I have thrown away in the past, okay, I've thrown away money, but that is directly tied to that. Who's asking that question? Was it Commissioner?
I was.
Yes.
Just didn't know if there's any way, we don't really have a way to project that, do we?
No, there isn't, it's kind of like elections, you never know. I'm
Yeah.
sure you go 75.
I mean, prior year was 42, it was 36, then the 42, and then it jumped 20,000.
And it's based on claims.
And yeah, so,
You wanna leave it or change it?
I'm not sure, it's not one of those, we don't know if we have lost a lot of people who've been making a lot of claims. I think we all have the same staff in general.
It's your decision.
I'm okay with leaving it at 50,
Yeah.
that's why I put it back in at 50 in hopes that we don't have to spend that.
I think that would be an unforeseen thing as well, you know, so.
I'm ready to move forward.
Okay.
I've got one on contingency. With all the construction and everything you got, should we increase it back to 200,000? We don't need it, we're not gonna spend it.
100,000 taken out of being invested in 3 or 4 or 5%. I'm fine with it 100,000, so I'll put it in.
I think you should increase it, honestly, myself, just to cover our bases. I mean, if we don't know, we just have 2 things we said, the health and reimbursement and the, $50,000 we had in the other one. I would want to increase it. If we need to increase it 100, that's fine, or I would support that.
I would say leave it at 100,000, keep the other 100,000 in our investments. We had 200,000,
Right.
425, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's at 100,000 right now. Well, that's what projected
Right.
one is 100,000. I say, in my opinion, is leave it at 100,000, because we've only spent 23 the year before, 91, the year before that 18, so we have a run not over 100,000, so I would say 100,000, in my opinion.
I'm okay with the 100,000 as well.
Okay. Next for me is page 8, GP2. there's office furniture, 7,000. I was confused because it has also office furniture on this sheet that was given of 50,000. So is that 7,000 part of that 50,000, or is it 57,000?
It's different, Judge.
I didn't purchase anything this year because I wasn't sure. Our furniture in our office is very outdated. We were gonna update some of the stuff, but the building hasn't proceeded, and so I don't wanna order the second clerk station because it wouldn't fit into my building right now.
Okay.
So as soon as we know that the building is making progress, it's gonna take probably 6 months to get that second station. So I would rather just not use it this year and it not fit in my little chicken coop and wait and get it built and moved into the new building. So it's for a second clerk station. But we would have to decrease the size of it to fit it into this building.
When that's not spent, Commissioner, that reverts back just into the general fund. She's just kind of, she doesn't want to spend that money if she doesn't need to spend that money if the project's going to continue to move forward.
Right. So for clarification was, it should be 57,000 on the office furniture.
No, because you said that the 50,000 will cover, you're not gonna use the 7,000 and this proceeds. If
Right,
the building
right.
proceeds, you're not gonna
Correct.
touch the 7,000.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
It's just for a second clerk station, but if the
The
office
building
is gonna
proceeds,
get
the
bigger,
50,000 is gonna cover
yes,
this.
it wouldn't fit. It would be about 3 feet short.
Okay.
And then there is an error. I want to remain with the 20 hours for one clerk and the 29 on the other. The office really isn't big enough for 3 of us to be here all the time.
Donald's laughing because she knows.
She knows.
I'm sorry, Judge, can you say that again?
Okay,
So-
you have both clerks at 29 hours.
Well,
Yeah.
you-
Which one is it?
so on whenever you and I met, we wanted to add the 9 hours. Now we don't want to add the 9
No,
hours.
there's not
Okay.
room for 3 of us.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because I had in my notes plus the 9 hours,
That's what I
so
did, Carolina. So lower it back to 20.
we'll lower that one
For
back
now.
to 20, yeah. So we'll have one at 20 still
Yeah.
and one at 29.
Judge, which one is that one, the
The
33,000,
top one,
the 33?
the top one will be.
The
yeah.
top one, the 1050, is going to remain the 20 hours, and then 1052 will stay at the 29 hours.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Okay. On JP3, software license, this is item 100-457-3360. I was just wondering, what the software license was.
We have to, the justice of the peace, when the magistrate now have to be video, have to be available for the public to see. And so you can either you can do it by Zoom, you can do it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, so what's happening is, it hasn't technically gone into act just yet, but there is an anticipation that all magistrate hearings need to either be open to the public
Yeah,
or available via live stream.
right.
So in lieu of that, JP1 and myself are utilizing a program called Video Magistrate,
Right.
where it is a cloud-based software to where we're able to basically Zoom/FaceTime the defendant from wherever we're at, as long as we have a device with us. And that also helps us eliminate trying to find coverage when we're gone for conferences or we're just out of the county. We can then come in and they don't have to be waiting at the jail all day long.
Right.
We can just take care of that. And then in the future, the judges that aren't utilizing it, the jail gets a free account. So if we do by law have to live stream or have it open to the public, we have that free account set up to where, for instance, if JP2 needed to go in there, she can utilize that camera to be able to live
Right.
stream if she needs to.
I think Judge Rizeko and Judge Sotelo, y'all both still do the magistrate.
Right. Right. And then even with that, our video magistrate process doesn't eliminate us going in person. We're just using that as another avenue if needed. But of course, we're in the area, we're in town, that's easy to do. Or if it's a big case, whatever be the situation, we definitely want to be there in person. But if we are able to handle it online, we're going to do so.
Thank you.
On that, was the county still gonna move forward with, the YouTube channel, or, because I know one of the concerns was who was in there. If a family member.
Correct.
Who didn't want them in the courtroom.
Correct.
But they could watch from the outside of the lot.
It's in my opinion, it's a safety thing, and I don't magistrate. Luckily, I have 4 awesome JPs that do all the magistration. But it's a safety issue too. If you've got to open that up to the public, you've got, mom or dad or cousin or brother that's, hey, this is, be in charge, what do you, and they're in there with our judges, that's, the jail is the safest spot for that, but this allows them to, this license, allows them to still meet that statute.
Video Magistrate comes with a stream key already linked to whatever YouTube channel the county utilizes. Whether that be the same YouTube channel we utilize like for Commissioner's Court right now, or we just have a separate one. And what would happen is all the magistrates, as soon as you click live, that channel is going to turn on YouTube.
Right.
And then it's going to turn off per each magistrate, whoever's utilizing that specific service.
Thank you.
Moving to Department of 465 official,
What page are we on?
11 of 31. Item 4,000. District Court Appointed Attorney. I just noticed it reduced 40,000. I was wondering why it reduced 40,000. I mean, I don't know what else here, but just notice the change.
I'm assuming that the district court appointed attorneys, they are utilizing the Alamo Area Public Defender's Office significantly more, which is why you see that number go down. You'll see it in my county appointed attorneys as well, because of the PDO that we pay into.
Court, if we can back up 2 pages.
Sure.
So it stays in order. Back on page 9, 457, 1050 and 1052, court clerk hourly, those were another 2. Last year we budgeted 45,864. This year we're budgeting 45,855.60. Just ask Tom, can we check on those numbers as well?
Those come from Audrey?
Yeah.
So those are
Call it
real numbers.
County
Yeah.
adds goes and does the whole budget.
Yeah.
There's just
We just have to pay our fair share.
Yep.
another strange $9 less.
No, that's legit number.
Okay. And then JP4, 458, 1050 on page 10. Last year we budgeted 47,694.40, and this year it's 47,689.82. So a few dollars less. Just don't want anyone mad at us later. You shorted me, and I couldn't get my coffee today. I'm ready to continue.
Now on page 11, 465, 4003, the JJAEP funding. We put in the 20,000.
250. Tom, you want to give an explanation on that? We can talk about it a little bit.
So they're not telling us before it's goals, what's going on.
We're making some significant changes, beneficial changes within the JJEP. That's our juvenile, Karnes Wilson juvenile, and Melissa has seen the writing on the wall and has kind of gotten in front of it. And this is just going to be a way for us to get ahead of potentially what could be a problem.
Traditional portions are about 20% comparable, sometimes.
Right.
Bottom line is to keep the kids off the street.
Correct.
This program.
Yeah.
It's a good program.
Yeah, if the JJAD went away, then you got to do something with the kids.
So this is us essentially funding a program here in Karnes County.
Between the Karnes Wilson juvenile probation, it's a prorated amount, for the total Karnes Wilson.
Lower down the page, 465, 4016, CPS court appointed attorney. Do we need to raise that? It just, we spent, we budgeted 20, and
That's not a number that I put in, and that again comes from, district.
okay. Okay, so anything that district does is gonna come from them. Last one on this page is the 100, 465, 4600, the grant match public defender. I just noticed that it went down like 20,600.
Yeah, that's our public defender, that's our share.
That's our what?
Our share.
Share? Yeah. Okay.
The public defender's office covers, that is goes to Karnes, Wilson, Frio, and Stout.
So what happens is they get a pot of money from all the counties, and if the expenses don't come in, that they lower the contribution
Right.
next year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good, good, good.
Page 12, and I'm gonna give a copy of this. I think this ties to the one that, no, this is the weekly service. There's no office expense in 476, 3100 under Victims Service Coordinator.
Office expense, 3,000.
So that was set up separately, that's gonna wash out next year because that was a separate department, but now we have a separate grant under grant 776. So the whole program is right now.
Okay.
This was first set up years ago. 776. That's what we'll see next year.
Okay, so this, okay. All right.
After 3 years, that'll fall off, Commissioner, so you know, too.
Over on page 12, 476, 4200, telephone for county attorney. We have $5,500 budgeted. My understanding is we're moving all phones to our IT department, is that correct?
Needs to be zero, yeah. I started whenever Commissioner Patrick and I were talking about that, so that was zero. So make your note on that.
So that will be 0.
It will.
What is this, victim services coordinator?
That's DeAnn, that's DeAnn, that's in the county attorney's office. It's, we used to get it funded by a grant, and then, that, a few years ago, wasn't getting funded anymore. And I believe that, this year she was gonna fund it with the Senate Bill 22 funds. Yeah.
Moving to page 15, capital outlay.
So that all got rolled into a new fund 500, which is what the judge went over this earlier today, all the different line items. So that's the funding for it to get it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What I'll probably do, I'll send emails for outside auditors, if I create a separate department for the monies that we're gonna move out of general fund, that way we know exactly where that is at the very bottom of our
And
general.
Phil, yeah, that's a good
I like that
idea.
better.
I do too.
Built into the budget. So
I do too.
those items, Commissioner, are non-expenditure items, we're just moving our reserves into other funds.
Okay, so on the archives, on the 5704, the archives court, records building, we had 1.25 in there last year.
Mhm.
Just doing 124, and per this, if I'm reading it right, I'm gonna say we're budgeting 400.
That'll even out the bid that we approved.
Okay. And then the jail, I'm sorry, the jail facility settlement, 5742.
We still have that money, we have not spent it, and we'll spend that on on all the work that's going on there right now with sheriffs, and I've just got another bill from Chapman Firm who loves to bill us lots of money. That Mike Foster has been over there and looking, so yeah, that's the fund that we received from the lawsuit.
So is there only 495, 396 left out of the 1.5 million, or is?
So Judge, you probably need to add something in there for the jail. Right now, it's these are the AC units under jail facility equipment. You know, the enhancements.
You're on 5731.
Yeah, so we probably should put something before we continue doing the work over there.
What page?
Unless it falls over one of those other-
We're on page 15 of 31.
Yes, sir.
So, that we put the 250 in, we spent 237,019.97. How much money do we have left from the lawsuit?
Go back and look at this. It all rolls together into the jail fund balance, whatever.
So we need to go back and look at, we're going to, all the repairs that we're doing right now, we're gonna expend those funds that we got from the lawsuit.
Okay.
We're gonna use those funds first. We don't wanna, obviously, we spent a lot of money, to get that settlement, and we tapped out on all the builders, whoever they all went off after. I was way on the tail end of that, having to go to Austin for those hearings, but we'll utilize the settlement money first. And so that is somewhere right now.
So I need another line item.
You need a line item for that.
Okay. For the 1.5 or
Whatever's left.
Okay.
Here's the jail settlement you have right here. We've only spent 1701 out of that currently, out of the 1.5 million. It's a couple of line items down. That's your settlement. So the facility improvements, Sheriff, did we put anything whenever we were talking about that? For facility improvements when we were going over your budget?
The repairs or?
250 on this.
Yeah,
on this
so
sheet, but
you're
it says
talking about
facility.
on the
Right.
commissioners?
The 250, I think, is in, so that's in just capital outlay. So the facility improvements, that's what Commissioner took it from, I think Commissioner Lissy wanted to take it to just facility improvements last year. We changed that last year to facility improvements. So that money, which I'm not a fan of because, it's kind of like a slush fund out there that you go over on one of your facilities that, EMS could use it, Road and Bridge can use it, jail can use it, annex can use it. It's not identified. If that's $250,000 that's just sitting out there in like a slush fund, I don't like that.
And speaking of that, on the sheet that was given, the jail facility equipment, the 495, 396.
Those are the AC units, Judge. They're right out of the total.
Okay, AC's at the jail. The court's pretty, especially Commissioner Rosales and Commissioner Missy, always, since this court has been, us three have been on hearing, ACs have been a problem at the jail.
Should we,
Sorry, go ahead.
should we put some money aside for jail drawings? I know we're working on the jail, but for the new jail, should we put some money and have some start drawings? Because that's gonna take a long time to get all that done. If you kick it down the road another year, that'll be another year forward.
I agree. We're gonna need something for moving forward, yes.
Okay. Why don't we, that line item, facility improvements, why don't you just change the title of it to, jail facility, architect fees, or drawings, or something like that? And what about, Sheriff, you got a number in mind, what that would?
I honestly don't, so I've never built a jail.
Yeah, I have to do that.
You have a number for when you did it on?
No, I was gonna say, Casey, where,
So to put it in scope, if we do a $5 million project for the EMS training center, architecture fees, I think were 7%, so I think it was 7% of 5 million, so $250,000, I think is what we're told, turnkey for design development, construction documents, construction administration, the entire process. Now, if you just want to simply design a building, you can probably cut that in half, if not a third of it.
Yeah.
But turnkey for an architect for a large scale project, I think you're at least $250,000.
There you go.
I had this thought in mind, that for slash improvement, maybe 250, and another 250 for that, so that's what I figured. Maybe 5, there you go, for slash improvements.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on, everybody. Come on.
So it'll be the 250 for the paperwork and all the drawings, and then 250, it'll be slash improvements, another 250 for improvements. We need any for the jail, so it'll be 500,000. Yeah,
And
that
facility improvement.
Yeah.
jail facility, drawings, slash, forward slash.
5731, so.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. For me, next week, page 16, maintenance, 100, 510, 4540, vehicle maintenance and repairs, is a $15,000 increase. Would you purchasing a new vehicle or?
I was going to, but the sheriff gave me one of their.
Yeah.
And the one that I do have now, I'm gonna put in the surplus. We're switching trucks.
So what, on that money there, do we need to?
We need to have some maintenance because, maintenance and repairs in there, so I'm gonna drop it back down to that original $3,500. 4540 back to 3,500.
You do that, Renee, I mean, that's what you do, I mean, that takes care of your vehicle.
For now, yes.
Yep.
Page 17, part of 540 emergency medical service, item 100, 540, 1086, paramedics holiday pay. I look back and 2 years ago, we budgeted 17, we paid for 14. Last year, we budgeted 114 and paid 17. And now we budgeted 122. I'm just wondering why it went up so high, why we increased it.
So, I'll just come up there, Commissioner. So the correct increase previously, that line item was only inclusive of budgeted holiday pay. So again, our department, similar to that of the sheriff's, if the county holiday is occurring, we're on the clock, so we get a pay in additional to whatever the hourly rate is. And so previously it was just inclusive of holiday pay. It is now that 122 and some change is representative of holiday pay as well as pay time off, coverage for pay time off and vacation. So it's all encompassing what my total payroll cost is, because historically, we're always missing those dollar amounts. And so I want to identify worst case scenarios. So that $122,000 is not, we're gonna spend that. That is my worst case scenario. So I take my
PTO and vacation included in that now.
correct holiday pay, PTO, vacation, worst case numbers. So my highest paid employee taking all the time off that they needed or were granted, and having to backfill that with my overtime. So that's what the dollar is.
I trust Casey.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I assume there's others, so I'll just sit here.
Item 540, 1097, admin, trained, clinical, payroll.
Correct.
Is this a new position?
No, sir. So that line item funds times that we have the employees on the clock for administrative, so any business screening, staffing, which we have 2 a year, so 2 8-hour days a year, so 16 hours a year per employee. For our grand rounds, they have to go to a cadaver lab once a year at minimum, so 10 hours. So anything that we require of our employees for a staff meeting, training, and our weekly medical director lectures that they have to, at minimum, have to attend a certain amount, we identify that cost. So again, I don't want to come to you at the end of the year and say, sorry, I was over budget by $7,000 because all my staff meetings, I didn't account for that. So that pot of money, if you will, is to cover that. And we have a pay code specifically set up in time clock to identify those hours. here in Bear.
Wait, well, last year we budgeted 42,000, we spent 8,400. You know, and I'm just asking, is this the same thing as the vacation, where you have to plan a worst case scenario? Or is that number?
1097 cases.
Yeah, I don't think it's not lined up on my notes. So, Commissioner, you said last year you were looking at what, I'm sorry?
42,540, 54. Correct. We spent 84,0157. Now that number is increasing to 77,649.
Again, so that is figured at worst case scenario. So I look at the maximum amount of hours that an employee will have to be required to attend at my highest paid amount. So again, the highest paid employee, I can segment out and say, Commissioner Easter's gonna get paid $20 an hour, at overtime rate is time and a half of that. I figure all my numbers at worst case scenario.
That's not what's going to be spent, is what you're saying.
Correct.
That is if, you know, if we had the apocalypse and, like Casey said, worst case scenario, that's what that number would be. It's not going to be that. Hopefully it stays closer to that, you know, 8,400 instead of 77,000.
Correct.
Next page, 18, item 540, 3911, medical equipment.
Correct.
That went up 38,000.
Yes, sir. So as the court will recall, so we had a significant increase this current fiscal year from 9,000 to 50,000. That was to accommodate the purchase and implementation of our mobile laboratory systems and devices. So that's since been implemented. Going into this year, so the increase of $38,000 from 50 to 88 is to request to buy new ventilators. So all of our ambulances, so we have 4 ambulances that are fully equipped, has a mechanical ventilator. Of those 4 devices, 3 of them are beyond the service life. Granted, we get them serviced every year, they're calibrated, they're certified, but we're gonna have to make a decision as a department to replace those with the same technology, so buy new equipment over we currently have version, or transition to a new version of the ventilator, which is newer, better, all the things. And so to a one-time purchase of those new devices, plus the 1 year of service to accompany that is what the increased amount is for. So to put it in perspective, I'll give you specific numbers just so you're aware and the public is aware. The equipment itself, if I can just find the page. I should have the quotes tab out here. I'll get back to you if you come up with a new question. I'll tell you what specifically.
I mean, the only other question I have on this is, you know, obviously we're putting in the budget to build a Gillette EMS and a Rungy EMS. Staff-wise, ambulance-wise,
Yes, sir.
is that in the budget to staff those, when those are completed?
So short answer, no. So the only staffing, additional staffing request that I made in my proposal to the judge is in addition of the training captain. That would be in addition to my current staffing today. So the reason, to answer your question on the additional staff for the 2 proposed EMS facilities, one in Gillette, one in Rungy, is because we're a 1.5 to 2 years out from ever occupying those facilities.
Correct.
Where I am interested is to try and begin to pre-plan those on the apparatus side of the house, because the apparatus is going to take a 1.5. And so in the capital outlay budget, you see a new ambulance request. And so,
$399.
so almost $400,000 is to order an ambulance to get that in the queue. I've been very open and happy to have a conversation now or at a later time related to the decision point that the court will have to make a decision on related to Gillette and Rungy. I know and I can agree they're both in the budget, but at a current volume in today, I would be hesitant to agree with the idea of both. Obviously, as we can go down the path of geography versus volume, right? If you want to do the geography volume as far as the distance and delay, Gillette will win every single time. It's 30-minute response time. And if I'm having a heart attack in Gillette, 30 minutes is not good. Comma, I also know the volume is significantly less in Gillette than it is in Rungy. Geography is not necessarily a problem because it's 10 minutes for Rungy. 10 minutes is 10 minutes and a lot can happen in 10 minutes. I'm definitely not passing that off. But I think from an overall volume, I mean, it's going to, we're looking at, if we look at $5 million in new facilities for 2 EMS stations. Now the question is, well, how many more personnel do we need to do to staff that? An ambulance, you're looking at 6 people. An EMT and a paramedic for 3 shifts. That's 6 people at a minimum. Bar napkin math, we say it's $1 million a year to operate an ambulance. That's putting aside purchasing an ambulance, which again is almost $400,000, with additional capital equipment. So you say by the time you buy the ambulance, put all the equipment in it, that's $500,000, and then you put $1 million in operating costs in our budget. All in the meantime, to realize our volume is not significantly rising to where we're gonna be able to generate more revenue. I will agree that one ambulance is justifiable. One more ambulance is justifiable in the name of doubling our transfer capacity. We're losing about, on average, about 1.5 transfers a day out of AutoCaster because we're not gonna accept back-to-back transfers. Our primary focus has been and will continue to be 911. Also keeping in mind that the taxpayers that may not be calling 911 are also laying in the bed at AutoCaster Hospital needing a trip to San Antonio. So we're in that business. We're in that level of service. So I think one is justifiable, but I think I want to put on the court's radar, and again, Commissioner, I've told you this as well as a judge, I think we have to have an open discussion about making a choice. I can get behind both when the volume supports it.
Right.
I wholeheartedly can get behind both ideas, both Rungy and Gillette, if the volume supports it. And ultimately, I'm the EMS chief, I work for the court. If the court says, Casey, we want an ambulance in Rungy, we want an ambulance in Gillette, we're gonna build a station in both, we understand it's gonna cost $2 more million to your budget, my constituents and the taxpayers want it, I'll staff and run whatever size organization you want me to run. I work for you, I work for the taxpayers. But I'm also, you hire me and you keep me on the payroll because you want my opinion. And I'll tell you, my opinion is I can get behind one today. The volume supports an ambulance today. The court has to make a decision. I can give you all the data that you want to which one we need to do right now. But from an overall best use of the dollar, the volume just doesn't support both. But I know it's a long-winded answer, but since we're on the discussion about staff, it would be, if we did both, that's 12 more people, that's doubling the size of my operations, $2 more million a year to my budget, with, again, potentially another $500,000 in revenue. So I'll put us at about a $2 million revenue, $5 million budget. So it's a numbers thing. You know, we're not in the business to make money. That is not, we will never make money in the EMS. Never. But I will also state that we, as the auditor points out every month in his report, aside from sales tax, property tax, and interest income, we are the number one revenue source for Karnes County.
Right.
And so there is the business aspect to our operations, but I want to make sure we keep that in mind as we run in the path of capital expenditures and buildings and all that stuff. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
Absolutely.
I'd like to add to that, if I could, just speaking about it. You know, I see the reports you send out every month, and I always see that Rumby's in the top 3 or top 4. If they're not in the top 3, then it's all cities that jumps over them. I'm in no way at all saying that Gillette needs to be secondary at all. I think they need to be in both, in my opinion. You can't put a price on life. I think from a population standpoint, there's a lot more people in the Rungy area and in Rungy that need to be serviced. From a constituent standpoint, I know my constituents have definitely voiced their opinion to me that they want an EMS ambulance there. There's a lot of people out there, and you and I have had conversations about this, and I understand your position on that. I don't want to be looking at someone either in Gillette, Rungy, Kennedy, Punch City, Falls City, any of these places around here, and say, I'm sorry, we didn't have the service there because it was $1. I'm not going to do that. So it's my suggestion to put in the budget, because I know, like you said, it takes about a year to get the ambulance, and then to find qualified people, it's a search for you. And if the facilities are not built in a year, I mean, I don't know why it would take a year and a half. I mean, I've never built one, so I'm not saying it wrong in that at all. But I'm going to be aggressive in nature going after, if this gets approved, getting it built. I would like to put in the budget to provide for the staff and for the ambulance to, at least for Rungy, just, I can't speak for Gillette, but do it for both, as far as I'm concerned. And so whatever that number is, I would like to add that to this year's budget to make sure that both of them are staffed with an ambulance and the folks that need to be in.
Time-wise, I don't think we're there yet, Commissioner. I think next year, let Casey, you know, he can provide those numbers. He knows, he'll know how much staff he'll need, and he can draw it down to the dime on what that staffing is going to cost. But in my opinion, we're nowhere close. I mean, we're gonna close on the property in Gillette, but we've already been working with architects for the training facility, including the Gillette facility into it. So that one, that one's got a little more leg on it, but I still don't anticipate that being ready to be staffed in a year.
Well, I respect your opinion. I do disagree as far as the little more leg on it. When the property is purchased, it's getting cleaned up right now. I've got an architect that's also designing the service center. And, I'll be, if this is approved, going after that aggressively, like I said. And so I would much rather put it in there. If it's not used, it goes back into the farm. But I would much rather have it, if the doors are able to be open in either one of them, I'd much rather have the personnel to staff those. And I know it's gonna take you at least, I think you mentioned to me, 6 months or so to find the
3 to 6 months from the time we advertise, select the candidates, put them through a 3-month orientation process. It definitely takes time. I agree with the concept wholeheartedly. Again, just based upon our current projects timelines, again, I think we will probably, if let's just hypothetically say the court adopts both facilities, I think wholeheartedly we could have both facilities designed, because they're gonna look almost identical, I would almost guarantee you. But I don't think we would even be a third of the way, if even convinced. And it's taken us almost an entire year to just finalize design for our current facility. And I understand the scope is bigger, but at the end of the day, timelines are what they are. Consultants that are gonna be designing our EMS stations are also engaged in other projects for their architects. So, I don't see a scenario from timing. Again, concept, I agree with it. And with that concept, that's why I think having an ambulance in the queue is 100% the most important priority for fiscal year 26. Next year at this time, granted both the projects get greenlit, or the court says one or the other, again, your discretion. We wholeheartedly have that staffing discussion, because October 1 of fiscal year 27, we need to have that money identified. I just don't think it's fiscal year 26. I think we focus on apparatus this year, because I don't see a model that we would even have an upright structure in either Gillette or Runyon, or both, between now and then. That's my opinion, and definitely I don't sit on the court, I don't have the building authority, but that's my 2 cents for it.
We appreciate your 2 cents, honestly.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I do, however, respectfully disagree with you, I think I'll be a little bit more aggressive than that. I'm gonna try, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's not looking for lack of trying, and I would
Yes,
sure
sir.
hate to open the doors, cut the ribbon, and say, oh, sorry guys, we got a nice little EMS station over there, but we gotta wait for 6 more months till we get budget, until we get personnel, and whatnot. And so I would much rather, than not have to play that waiting game. Honestly, it's the same reason that I supported the EMS training facility back when. Keep the ball rolling, keep it going.
Okay. I can definitely get those numbers, some for minimum staffing, so in the EMT and paramedic, we are heavy paramedics, and I love that, and I definitely want to maintain that, but from a minimum staffing, I'll get you a dollar amount. No later than tomorrow, for 6.
Identify that all in a, not a separate line item, because I don't include them, but identify those 6 for Gillette, Runyon.
But Judge, if we put those positions, then we have to go and create them.
It's a lot.
It's not as simple, put X dollars in there, and here it is, like buying the ambulance.
What?
We can do whatever court wants to do,
Court, Commissioner,
Yes.
my view on it as a builder,
because that shows on the budget, then they're gonna have all these positions in EMS.
of course, with all due respect, doors won't be open in a year. And it's almost impossible, just from a builder's point of view. It's not gonna, we can do these, but they won't be open within the year that we're talking about. And I think if they would be, by some miracle, we get some guys that are just fabulous, everybody just works with us and everything falls in place, I think there would be something that we could do to it, because if it would be open, it'd be the last 1 month or 2 months or something like that. It wouldn't be a full staff, but we could probably work with something like that. But for the doors to be open, only my opinion, with all due respect, the doors are gonna be open within that fiscal year 26. That's just my opinion, of course. And I know you disagree with me, and we're
No,
buddies.
that's okay. I completely understand and respect everyone up here, and Casey's as well, their opinions on it. I just
know, this is something that's important to me and important to my constituents, and I'm gonna push very hard for it and support it. You know, I think, where the county sits, you know, financially, I wanna be a good steward of the money, but at the same time, you can't put a price on life, and I think an ambulance needs to be in Gillette and in Lundy, honestly, and it needs to be staffed. Is it overkill? Yeah, it's overkill until that one phone call and someone's loved one, and then it's paid full. So, I mean, as long as, you can tell me that, well, I can't say that. I would like to put forward, putting an ambulance in Rungy, putting an ambulance in Gillette, and fully staffing both facilities. If, at least, I mean, having the ambulance for both, for sure, I know that's a year wait. I know that's a year out, so that's gonna take, you got the one, and I think you had another one that's kind of spare. So
Correct.
you
So
could do that?
we have a fully staffed spare ambulance that is our reserve truck. So nights and weekends, something happens, they can literally just jump into it and they can run a call on it. We have it licensed with the state. And so, again, we have one on order, so let's play the game of apparatus. We have the one on order, it's a year and a half wait time, and we get that one in. We do have 2 buildings within a year and a half time. We're having this conversation next year at this time. Ambulances, we're still gonna order another one, because I still wanna have that other spare and redundancy, but I have, my ambulances are not a problem. As long as I have, the court approves the one that's in capital outlay today, with the associated equipment for it, we're good. And then, again, once we get to the point of having this conversation next year, I will have one more ambulance on order thereafter to build in that secondary spare. But again, I think the scenario from a staffing perspective, just to close the door on that, I just don't see the scenario that will ever, it would even be upright on a construction project, just based upon history and current timelines with projects that specifically the EMS training facility. I'm speaking long experience, but it's just the process. Government is, man, it's gonna take 90 days just to get the actual design on paper, and then have to vet it and have multiple meetings. It's just gonna take a lot of time. I wholeheartedly agree that ambulances are priority. We'll keep those in the queue, and then next year at this time, we're having a legitimate staffing conversation for both operations. That's the court wants us to do.
Casey, I totally support your training facility, but what I'm hearing from people is they'd rather have boots on the ground in Rungy and in Gillette before the training facility is built.
So again, that concept, I would agree with that, but I've been very open in that we as a department, as an EMS agency, cannot effectively and most importantly, safely increase our span of control and our scope of work without the training facility. We have 3 operations captains that currently oversee 6 people a shift on 3 different locations. We can't even have a simple staff meeting with a third of our, one shift. We can't even have a staff meeting for a shift, a third of our organization in our current space. And again, we do it haphazardly. Dr. Rizai, as an example, who comes down weekly and does lectures sitting at our conference room, doesn't have an office. Our operations captains that we've had for 3 years now don't even have an office. We have a desk in the corner of what was designed to be a conference room back in 2015. And so we have no space. If we're talking about adding, we have ambulances parked outside, we have assets parked outside. We cannot expand when it comes to clinical training, to having $1 million assets sitting outside, until we have that facility. It's the next step for this organization, and I can't get behind the idea. Again, conceptually, I would want an ambulance in Rungy too if I lived in Rungy. I would want an ambulance in Gillette if I lived in Gillette. But we absolutely cannot safely and effectively grow and let, candidly, our assets just wither away outside until we have the appropriate facility to grow into now and into the future. So that would be my rebuttal to that. It's step 1 is the training and admin offices. Step 2 is going on the path of expanding our operation.
I'd like to add something to it. So it's not just a training facility, something you all get behind that's been discussed several times is our EOC. We saw what happened in Kerrville, we saw what happened to everything else. Right now, if the sheriff's office, let's just say it goes down, generator goes down, the backup radios are there. What are we gonna do with comms? How are we gonna talk to first responders? How are we gonna get help? That's the whole point also with this training facility is having the EOC. So that's gonna allow us to put our backup radios and run major scenes as they come up from that location. Without it, we're still at the 1900. We need to move forward.
I would echo, thank you, Chief. I would also echo, I have siloed the project into an EMS project, right? And it's in the name, EMS training facility and admin offices. But the core root of that facility has been multi-purpose in nature. For EMS, yes, we will occupy on a day-to-day 2/3 of that facility with admin offices and our training space, dedicated training space. But multi-purpose in that, we will relocate the backup radio consoles from the sheriff's office to that facility. We already had conversations with ACOG to have the data infrastructure in place to put a secondary 911 console. So when things get super busy, whether it's an industrial incident or a natural disaster, we now have a secondary dispatch in a different location, which, oh, by the way, is co-located in the Emergency Operations Center for Karnes County. The two large training spaces, I've filled in multiple questions. Casey, your department's never going to be 100 people strong. I would agree with you. I will dread the day if our department ever gets 100 people strong. But I can tell you, as chief, I will quote him specifically from 2 weeks ago at the Strat conference when he said, "Whatever you're designing today, it's too small." And to put it in perspective, in the 26,000 square miles of the 22 county region of Strat, which is Southwest Texas Regional Advisory Council, from Del Rio to Kerrville, Fredericksburg, down to Gonzales to Karnes, over to Eagle Pass, 26,000 square miles. How many brick and mortar emergency operations centers do you think there are? 2. In 22 counties, there are 2 brick and mortar emergency operations centers. One in Bear County and one currently being constructed in Wilson County that TM is paying for. That's a problem. If we have a big problem, what we have is insufficient. And what we're trying to build is going to be insufficient. I'm telling you right now. I mean, that building will probably cost $10 million. It can be. So, again, I will take the fault to say we've siloed the project in the purpose by name because it's titled the EMS training facility. But I want to wholeheartedly commit to the court and to the public that has brought questions to me and to the court is the multi-purpose nature of it, specifically emergency operations. Voting is another thing. We have multiple conversations about voting places. Commissioner Beatrix asked my opinion. We absolutely open the doors for voting. It's ADA compliant, all the stuff, all the minimum qualifications for that. Obviously, I'll defer to Beth as who's the expert, but it's an option. The sheriff's always having a space outside of attached to a correctional facility, i.e. a jail, having a dedicated space. Again, the list just continues to go on when it comes to that project in and of itself. So that's just my 2 cents for the current project undergoing and current, and then proposing to continue the capital outlay, the EMS training facility. Again, I'll own that we siloed that project by name, but it definitely is way beyond the scope of that entitlement. And to answer the previous question, Commissioner, I found a quote. The ventilator purchases was $66,000. And then the year 1 of service is $2,000 and some change. That remaining residual is this contingency. Every year we have an IV pump break, we know just medical equipment break, so we have to fix it. So that remainder is just contingency to allow us to fix whatever breaks throughout the year.
Generators and ambulances. So what is, from how much you end up putting in the budget, what was that discussion? Could you, for the training for the EMS, were there 60 people or?
What is it, 5 million,
5350.
Yeah.
No, not the training facility. Judge, did you instruct to do 6 people for the staffing of the EMS facilities?
We didn't add any staff.
We did not know. We haven't added any staff.
Okay.
Only staff, Commissioner, is 1 training captain that I have proposed in the budget with the judge. Is our only staffing increase going into fiscal year 26.
Well, okay. I don't know if I can make a motion or not, Judge, but I'd like to make a motion if that's what I need to do, to add 6 people to staff EMS training facility this year if it gets done completed, with all due respect to everyone's opinions.
So adding 6 additional personnel to the operating costs to staff a Rungy or Gillette, whatever, one station if we were to get it completed within
Yes.
a year. I can get that, I'll get that dollar amount identified, just the scope of this conversation, but to the auditor's point, we'll have to have positions.
What about the ambulances?
Yeah.
The ambulances are already in the queue, granted the proposed budget is passed, because again, we have the remount that's using ARPA dollars that the court already allocated, and certified, which shall not carry over, but identified in fiscal year 26, and then a new outright purchase of an ambulance. So from a ambulance perspective, the proposed budget is sufficient rather. The discussion would be to, if two commissioners motion to request the 6 personnel. So that would be 3 additional paramedics and then 3 additional EMT/advanced EMTs. And I can identify what those costs are from a payroll perspective, but then Tom would have to redo calculations related to FICA, Medicare, Social Security, insurance, et cetera. So,
How long will that take?
You're gonna do Gillette also, or just Rungy?
You put in there for both, I'm doing just for Rungy right now, if the Gillette, folks wants to do the Gillette, so I'll support that, but, I'm just doing that for, right now for, really whichever one gets done first, but I'll support both, but I guess primarily I need to do it for Rungy.
I support that.
Commissioners?
I don't support that.
I don't think we're there yet. I don't feel like getting there. I don't feel like we'll be ready for the staff by that time, but if we were, I'd like to have that money available. By creating those positions, does that incur extra cost upon the county just to have that position even though it's unfilled?
It's money that comes, that's gonna be dedicated to a position that's in there in name only, that potentially could be invested or used for current.
If we had that dollar amount, maybe contingency funds don't get invested, do they?
If we, by some miracle, one or both of those got built and was ready for staff, I feel confident that this court could come together and make a budget amendment and say, hey, none of us saw this coming, that it was gonna be able to get built this fast and ready to be staffed. I think that once you break ground, you're gonna have a much better idea of what that looks like, but unfortunately, nothing in government gets done timely. Nothing. It drives me absolutely crazy, but I feel confident this court can come together in a special meeting and say, hey, you know what, we need to fund this now, we're gonna be ready, we're not quite prepared, but.
So if I may, Judge, I mean, part of the reason why I called that is because I know budget amendments are black eyes. We don't like doing them. And, but if the court is open to coming together and doing a budget amendment, in the event that happens, I understand that it's a uphill battle and it may not get done. But if they're willing to do that, then I would be okay with that, to get it set. But I would like to see the numbers, what it's gonna cost to.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see those too, because, we're gonna obviously plan for one of both.
I think we threw on a while ago, was about $1 million each, right? Just roughly?
Right.
Total operating costs. So payroll, I
Yes.
just did some rough math. So if you use our base salary for a paramedic with built-in overtime, $75,118 times 3, that's $225,000. If you do an EMT pay, so roughly $60,000 times 3, it's $191,000 for a total payroll only, not including fringe, all the stuff, not to mention the fuel throw in that ambulance, the power bill, the supplies. Just the payroll is $416,000 for 6 people. You double that for 8, so that's $800,000 and some change for payroll alone. Again, just their paycheck, not to include fringe. And so that's where you get your roughly $1 million a year. When you start tagging in medical supplies, fuel, all everything.
And the problem with that, by earmarking that, we're gonna lose a lot of interest on it. We could be investing that dollars, and if one does come out, and we finish, I know we can come as a court and make something happen.
Candidly, I like this suggestion because I would hate to tie up $416,000, let's just call it $500,000 of taxpayer money that we can't get interest income on. And again, in a far-fetched scenario where we have doors open, ready to go, come to the table and say, hey, let's make the budget amendment as appropriate. That would be wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yes, sir.
I have a question, they're really more directed at Tom than for my information, but correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, if you don't have a budget to go, if you don't create a budget now, then it's not unforeseen. I mean, it won't be an unforeseen opportunity to create it, like in August.
It would, I believe it would be unforeseen
Well,
that
that's my question to Tom, because I've dealt with that before, and I think it's not unforeseen if you foresee in it at this point. Is that correct or not?
we are not foreseeing that those are being done. By
So
not taking
one person
action.
on the court is, and I'd like Tom, would you mind answering my question?
You're correct. Jennifer Toppy can comment on that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing with that is that if you're gonna want these positions available, you're not gonna be able to come back mid-year and get them. You have to create that now, is my understanding.
Would that be considered unforeseen, Ms. Copley?
I don't, in my opinion, no, it wouldn't, because, I mean, there's a possibility that it could be completed before the fiscal year is up. So, I don't think that meets the definition with regard statutorily to what has been held to be unforeseen.
I have one more question to that. Is there a way that if you, and comes from a couple of days ago, whenever you helped me, see how we move money out of my road and bridge fund account at the end of the year, which we can talk about later, but is there a way that if they budget for these positions, that money can still be invested in until such point in time as it's needed to be activated to fill the positions?
I would have to look that up.
Okay, I'm just trying to solve all the issues so everybody gets what they want.
Anything earmarked has to stay earmarked, from what I've seen in the court quite a while.
So I'm hearing 3 commissioners not supporting it. I mean, you keep beating it down, but I'm hearing that the 2 commissioners and the judge are not supporting going that route currently. So I don't know why we need to keep talking about that.
I heard you and Commissioner Gonzalez, I didn't hear Mr. Gadget. If that's fine, that's okay.
I see it as unforeseen for the facility to be constructed and ready to go. I would totally support a budget amendment if the unforeseen happened.
Legally, if that happens, and we can let this pass. Wayne, that's about enough.
I don't see a scenario realistically. It's taken us almost 2 budget years to design an EMS training facility and emergency operations center. I don't see a scenario that we will have a facility, move-in ready facility to staff with 6 or 12 personnel, facilities, next year at this time, or any time during this year. I think, again, best case scenario, we have a building or 2 identical buildings designed. I think we have earthwork done, and that's it. Realistically, I think, again, conceptually, I get behind that. We want to be ready, we want to be aggressive, we want to go, but I just don't see the timeline. Just based upon, again, a 1.5 year design timeline. I just looked it up. We had design conversations, not fiscal year 25, fiscal year 24. And so we're 2 budget cycles into even breaking ground on our current plan for our facilities. Focus would be facilities, apparatus, those are both in the budget. The court wants to do both. I'll get behind it. But from a staffing perspective, for just a conversation, I don't see a scenario where it's going to be possible to have a move-in ready facility between now and October of next year.
No, I can prove you wrong.
Moving on.
Any other questions for 540?
No, sir, I'm done. Thank you.
Commissioner Youngberg, do you, my questions so far have been answered?
Definitely be around if something comes up.
Do you have anything? Right? Oh, no, that's good, everything. Judy, thank you.
Thank y'all very much. I'll be around today, tomorrow, whenever.
Excellent job, Chris.
Thank y'all.
Judge, for me, next to page 19, on the constables, I noticed that they have a fuel expense, but I'm asking Tom if he could give them fuel cards.
Judge, those numbers were all the same for the first 3 days.
Yep, you're correct on that. With Commissioner Beatrick and I talked about that a little bit yesterday on why we were still supplying them. I think the talk was amongst the 3 constables was that once they got their vehicles, their units completely staffed with computers, stocked with computers, and were able to write tickets, that they were going to be patrolling significantly more. But if they have a fuel card, then we can take that $5 grand off.
And Jimmy, if I may ask, I know you're working on those, are they good to go?
Everything that I can do on my end is done. It's just them communicating with DPS to get their access. So they should have access by now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with more than $5 grand. Yeah.
You mean they should have access to be patrolling and giving out tickets and all 4 of them?
Yes.
Is that right, Sheriff?
I'm not,
wanted to, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sheriff.
Yeah, I'm not up to speed on what they need, but if they need any help, they can come to the sheriff's office. We will certainly help them get where they need to be.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sheriff.
Radio repairs, under constables as well, 550-4220. I don't know the first thing about radio repairs. Don't know if that's something they have to put in their budget every year. Not sure the significance. I know they didn't spend anything last year. We've had it in there for the last 2 years.
423, when I met with constables 123 at the same time, office expense, they wanted to leave the 1,500, fuel the 5,000, which I'm in agreement with you, Commissioner. I think that we can pull that out now that they have fuel cards. The hotspot air cards were the 360. Radio repairs, they still wanted the 2060 in there. One year they used $125. They've not used anything there, and so I don't remember of them saying anything about.
And the other one with constables was the vehicle equipment, the 4,000.
So on the 4,000, Commissioner Beatrick and I talked about that. On vehicle,
You said it was a safe or a locking mechanism?
they want these
Safe.
it's not a safe like this. It's and I wish one of the constables was here because they know it. Snowball.
It's probably just a storage box.
It's the lockable storage box where they can put their weapons in there. They can have their tactical or anything. And I don't have.
Yeah, it basically has if that's the one that's the one they get. It's a storage bin, but also has a drawer with a locking mechanism so you can keep your rifle, vest, all that stuff. So if your car gets broken into, it's safe.
And they brought a quote in with them.
Yes.
Did they say what the radio repairs were for, or they were just?
Did not say. I put it back in as the 2060. They said they needed it in there. I'm not confident on exactly. 750 still on the.
Do they all have $4,000 for that vehicle?
All the same, yes, sir. Yeah, all constable 1, 2, and 3 all stayed the same. They went additional They went on ammo from 800 to 1,000. Left the vehicle equipment at 4,000. I think we zeroed out body camera maintenance and zeroed out the cop scene repairs.
No, I did have one on constable 4.
Yes, sir.
Page 22, item 554, 4990, the bulletproof vest. I
Yes,
don't
sir.
know what a bulletproof vest costs, but I know the sheriff's office is asking for what the What's the average cost of a bulletproof vest?
The one that he brought in to me, Commissioner, the quote that he brought in to me was for a specific tactical vest, SWAT type vest, that he had whenever he was before he was constable in the old sheriff's department. And he felt like that vest is the one he needed. And if it's gonna save a constable, a peace officer's life, you know, and so that's not gonna be a reoccurring budget item at this one.
Yeah.
While we're on page 22, we'll talk about the school resource officers. I know here on the paperwork I was given, it includes 159, 173, 12 for 2 resource officers, but given the budget itself, it only had, that I was given, was $118,900. So this will be added to this amount if we have 2 more, or
We'll have to increase that amount by.
So it's gonna increase by 159,000, is that right?
Because of the what was it, 180?
118,900?
we currently have, what we were presenting is $118,900.
For 2 of the SROs. And now
In the budget changes, in the budget changes here, it says new positions to add to sheriff's office, 2 resource officers, $159,173.12.
Those are for the Kennedy,
Right.
correct? So it's not reflecting in the budget that you're looking at. If we adopt this budget without any with a handful of changes that we've made so far, those positions that I read off on at the beginning will be included.
They will be.
Yes, sir. And so that would cover the 2 SROs for the Kennedy.
Why is there, just curious, why is there a price difference, almost 40 grand difference between the 2? If we have 4 or 2 currently?
We have 2 Falls City,
Yeah, 2 Falls City, yes, sir.
and then we would have 2 in Kennedy.
That is correct, yes, sir.
And the reasoning for the price difference?
I did submit that second number for the 2 additional SROs. I'm guessing that's probably the fringe benefits included on that, Tom?
I'm sorry.
That 149, I don't know where that came
Yeah,
from.
that's all included on.
I mean, it wouldn't, the 2 SROs that we have at Karnes City shouldn't be a $40,000 difference just because of a step program or anything like that, salary wise. That's the only thing I could see, Commissioner, if you had a couple of employees that were longtime employees that were already employees of the county that took the SRO positions, that have been here for, say, 5 or 6 years, and their salaries have increased significantly. That's the only, I mean, that's the explanation that I can provide for it, but I don't know that's the fact of it.
Along the same lines, if we did get 2 more resource officers, we have on 560, 1020 clothing allowance for 38. We need to increase that.
That includes the benefit. That's why I said earlier on all those positions to be
It
considered.
includes the
It's
benefits
a whole
of it.
shoot match.
Okay, so if you
Yeah,
can,
we budgeted,
you're including uniforms in that.
not yes, I believe so, because we're paying uniforms on other ones, yes, sir. Yeah, we budgeted is 234,900 for the 4 positions. I'm sorry, facility officer 202,500 for the 4 positions. Line item 185, 647, 1021. Now we got like the token allowances for all of them as well. 8 of them, all of them. For the Department of Security. Got 4 gas and these 4.
Okay. Double check those numbers, huh?
Well, you don't want to take it down. So, 1185 is the Force Security Facility Officers. The resource officer on the sheriff's budget.
Oh, that's what it is. the security officers are for a facility for here, tax office, courthouse.
Yeah, the reason 118.9 is there, because these two y'all talked about today, we gotta add them to the budget. These are the two new ones. You just have these two in here that we have currently right now. These have to be added to the budget, that y'all haven't discussed, y'all want to approve those new positions.
You talking about?
So those are not included in the budget right now, y'all just added these.
No, I understand, but if there's two of them on
Yeah,
item 1011,
y'all gonna need two more.
I understand, but that's $118,900. And then there's two up here.
The whole shoot match.
I understand, $40,000 for it? That's $40,000 difference?
Wes, when you're looking at 1011, that's the salary. Whenever you go down, you'll look at further down on the next page. You'll see FICA, Medicare, longevity pay. That a percentage of that, say your FICA, Medicare, is 192, 592, 83. A percentage of that 192 will be added to that 118.9. Does that make sense?
It does, no, I understand,
And so the ones that Tom provided, whenever I read at the beginning, for the two new SRO officers, that will include
all that.
all of that.
Yes, sir, and the uniform is correct, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think those SRO, the first two, they weren't included in the step. So the number they have there will actually go up to 121,800 for two. If they're included in the step, so. The base salary.
Before we go further on the constables, I would like to say something about the constables. They're always there whenever I call for them, either one of them, I call every one of them whenever I need something or something comes up. I would like to express my opinion only on the constables. Now that if they're gonna be all ready to be able to patrol and all that, if they were patrolling out there, I know they're not there to generate any kind of revenue for the county, they are not. But they are peace officers elected by the people, they're elected officials, these four constables. I would like them to make exactly what the JPs make. I understand that the JPs have employees, they do have employees, with 1 or 2 employees, part-timers, full-timers, but the constables do put on a gun and they're first responders on scenes, and if they're able to give out tickets and being out there patrolling, I really would like to, for me, I would like to see them at 60,000 as the JPs, because they're elected officials too. They're law enforcement, but elected law enforcement, and they're able to patrol, that'd be great. It's only my opinion on that, guys. And I'm sorry for my voice, it's really bad today.
The court want to.
Commissioner, I know I wasn't part of the court at that time, but I remember sitting in the audience and listening, and I remember part of it, seemed like they got a raise when we gave them vehicles because we expected them to start patrolling and doing those things. So they went from 40,000 in 2022, 2023 to 55,000. They just got a $15,000 bump.
I think they went to 50,
They went to 50 first.
Yeah, they went to 55. But now they're ready to start, Commissioner. Now they're able to patrol now, right? Before they weren't.
Yes.
They have all the equipment now to patrol. I wouldn't see why, if they have all the equipment to patrol, why they wouldn't be patrolling. Only my opinion. I'm sorry, Commissioner, I'm very sorry.
You're fine, sir. I just seem to remember the justification for their last raise was because they were going to start patrolling. And it was to try to match the sheriff's deputy's pay. And that's just going up now.
No. They're not. Talking to the mic so we can hear you. No, they did not qualify for Senate Bill 22 money. Does the court want to increase the constables to JP? the constable business has changed a lot since I first sat down in this seat. They do a lot of work, and they have a valid point when the constables say, I'm an elected official, I serve a precinct, just as a JP does and just as a commissioner does. Why does it feel like we are getting punished?
And just to let you know, I talked to all of them, but none of them asked me to come and present this. I'm presenting it on my own. They were all good. None of them asked for it. I just presented this on my own.
Let me know so we can move on. Okay, hearing nothing, then we'll move on to the next question. Next page. Are we in Sheriff's Department, page 22 or 31? Is that where you are?
I'm at 23.
23?
23? Yes, sir. Well, 560, 1211, I know we were adding an IT person for Jimmy, and I know Jimmy needs it, and I also know the sheriff needs, they've expressed a desire to have someone internal. Is that the same person, or is that someone that's the data technician, or is that even IT? That's completely different?
Your data tech hourly, Sheriff.
Oh, the data tech?
Yes, sir.
No, that person does like the videos and other things, put reports together.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with what you're doing.
Okay. And so that, y'all currently have that position now there?
The data?
This is a new technician? A new position?
No, it's they.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood that. Thank you, Sheriff, appreciate it.
$560,3353 for software licensing for $212,503.
Yes, Commissioner, so the three different buckets that make that up is newspaper subscription is $64,350, which is for 33 laptops and patrol units. Sam Sarah subscription, which is $6,318 for 27 devices. And then the Motorola subscription, I believe those are ready to go through this current year. That's $141,835.
I'm gonna read those back out, so if there's people out there in county land that can't hear Tom without a microphone. The Peacemaker subscription, which includes 33 laptops and the patrol units, is $64,350. The Samsara subscription is $6,318, that's for 27 devices. And the Motorola subscription is $141,835. That's what makes up that big number. When Commissioner was talking to me yesterday, Michelle was still had my big budget notebooks, and so I said, I promise you I have those numbers there's a reason behind them that I don't have them in this one, so that's what these are, Brett.
$560,4260 mileage is at $1,500 for the last 3 years. No money's been spent out of that account.
What page you on?
I am on page 23, I apologize, I misspoke. It's 560,4260 mileage for $1,500. For $1,500. Fifth up on page 23. It was not too far below that software licensing.
Page 23.
Yes, sir.
I have a check by $0 to zero that out. So I think that we just need to zero that mileage out. Y'all don't use it, it hasn't been used in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, the deputies take the patrol cars and stuff,
Yeah.
but if you have admin assistants, how are they gonna get reimbursed for their mileage? That's all part of theirs. They come out of that or something else.
Do you have a,
The conference expense and stuff like that.
well, that's reimbursed, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah. Like the conference expense, that's reimbursed.
Right, it gets us put up between Leo's and the
Yeah.
training and all that.
Yeah, I put my check mark by revenue rate. It's up to y'all. You know. You wanna leave it in, or we wanna take it out?
Sheriff, I know you're taking over the budget, I'd like your input. We have $1,500 budgeted for mileage, and it hasn't been used in the last 3 years. I didn't know if it's something that we need to keep in there for you.
Yeah, so again, like
It's not something that's been used in 3 years. Let's kick it out of there.
They may send an admin assistant somewhere, and that way you got already budgeted just in case you need to pay that person.
I mean,
We haven't used it in 3 years.
This year, only thing.
This would be your first full year, right? With this budget?
Yes, yes.
This will be his first
Yes.
full year with his budget. His budget, not an inherited budget.
Yes, that's what I'm,
Yes, yes.
this would be this would be all your budget here, so if you want to keep the 1,500 in?
So the mileage currently.
I would keep it in, Cheryl, because what if you did have to pay mileage to someone that's not budgeted, how would you pay it? You know what I mean? If you had to pay mileage to one of your staff. You know, maybe you sent someone to San Antonio to buy something, and they turn the mileage, because it's not a conference, you have no place to charge it and take it out.
Well, I mean,
So I support keeping it in there.
Okay, let's keep it in. Let's keep it in. It's $1,500, so if we're talking about $5 million building, then we're talking about $1,500.
Guys, item 5604990, page 24, it's a good question. How many bulletproof vests are y'all trying to buy?
40, say it again.
I'm sorry, 4990. Bulletproof vests?
yes, sir.
How many are y'all trying to buy?
So it's not how many are we trying to buy, it's how many we need to buy. We have a list of people and when their vests expire. I don't have that with me to answer that question. But as we go along, we will purchase those vests for them. And so like a vest for, say, pistol rounds, hovers right below about $1,000. If you need a rifle vest that fits you, $2,500.
A lot of our guys have vests that we just found that are still good, but they're not fitted to.
Right, we reuse them,
Right.
but that doesn't, I mean, it's a
Okay.
great fit for them.
I was just trying to get an
Yes.
idea of how much they cost. I mean,
Yes, sir.
you guys need it from me, I don't know that. I'm not gonna-
Yeah, they're just the regular soft plate, soft armor that just does handguns is about $1,000 per gun. Yes, sir.
We get down to 5712 for vehicle equipment. The latest number that I got from the sheriff's office, and I don't know that you got it, was 246,919.05, and that was on as of 7/17 for radios. It's the 246,919.05. So that needs to be increased from the 180.
And then, Judge, on 5711, the vehicles, how many vehicles you are trying to purchase on
So what we're gonna do is, we're trying to get 6 for the patrol, we'll just call it patrol side, and then 2 for the SROs. We've decided, we're working with the school district, and we know money don't grow on trees with them. So Fall City is gonna buy one this year, 75% they pay for it, and then if we get, Kennedy, they're gonna have to buy one too, and then the following year, they'll buy the other vehicle.
Okay, so we buy 6, they're gonna buy one each from us?
No, so the sheriff's office, we're trying to get 6 vehicles to replace one. We had 4 vehicles get taken away prior to us for the constables. So 4 plus additional 2. We're lacking vehicles. We're projected I'm hoping in the next 4 weeks to run out of
vehicles because we're getting too many people.
Correct.
Okay.
That's how low we are. So we're trying to get 6 vehicles for us, 2 SRO vehicles.
Okay.
Which the 2 SRO vehicles, they pay 75%. The county pays 25%.
Right, and just to add to that, so I still have 2020s that I'm keeping running because we still have to service court and we also have to service the annex and security and whatnot.
Okay, and I'm assuming that the vehicle equipment underneath that is going to outfit those.
So, yeah, so the vehicle line item, if you look at that for the current outfitter that we're gonna use, the problem with the outfitter they were using is I'm constantly being IT mechanic, fixing wiring issue after wiring issue after wiring issue. So this outfitter we have out in Houston, they basically get the Tahoe, completely outfit it head to toe, and that is what we buy out of the vehicle line item. The equipment for it, associated the Motorola in-car camera system, body camera, your mobile unit radio, and your portable for that unit. So they come cut ready. We don't have to sit here, get it, come here, take it somewhere else, and take it over here. It's try to do one-stop shop as best we can with a good product.
Right, that was a total waste of a lot of our time back and forth, and then I have my chief out there like a mechanic instead of doing what I need him to be doing, which is helping me run the sheriff's office. That is a one-stop shop where we plug and play. We tell them what we need, and it comes perfectly from that location. We really like that service.
Okay. But just a quick question for the court. I thought we reimbursed sheriff's office for the constable cars that we took. We never did that?
That administration never got fixed that, so we had all those extras, and they didn't even get the brand new ones, they got some gently used ones.
Yes, okay. I was just wondering, I thought we had done it. The clock seat on 5746, does that include the constables, or is that just sheriff's office?
I think it's just a sheriff's office.
Yeah, it's just theirs.
Just theirs, okay. Next page 25, 561, 3330, jail food, it went up $50,000. Just wondering.
Yeah, so as you know, the food prices did go up. I'm not, I was looking into that myself on why so much is being spent. I have met with the, what do you call him, the cook, supervisor, whatever her title is over there, but she's the one that's been ordering the food. The last order that she did caught my attention. I brought her in the office again, and she said she ordered double. I asked her why she ordered the double, and she said it's because she didn't want to run out enough. Instructed her she needs to be, just buying what she needs to buy. So I really don't understand that. Again, the food prices I do know went up. The vendor that they've been using, when I got on board, is still the same vendor, and we haven't got to the point to get with the auditor and commissioner's court to put out for new bids for food service vendors. I'm 100% sure that once we do that, we're going to bring this under control and get it down again. Because right now with Labatt, you can't say, is each tray that we serve out there going to be $2.50? It doesn't work like that with them. The same thing as if they go to a restaurant. You order it, they deliver it, and then they send you a bill. There's no way to predict how much each plate is going to cost. When you go to a proper vendor, they'll tell you pay under contract. What we're agreeing to is $2.50, $3, whatever per plate, per inmate, at X many inmates per whatever your facility can hold. And so you'll know what your budget is, and you should always come in under that. But that's not where we're at right now. So those bids need to go out. They should have been done every 5 years. I don't know that they've ever been done, but they will be done this time.
Thank you, Sheriff.
this may be another point, but it was, 6/6/9/10/30. Right here it says 45,855.60 for an IT tech, but I believe that number's supposed to be 85,864, talking to the judge, because we went to hire another IT tech.
Well, that's what I mentioned, it's on the initial readout. It's just because it had not been adopted, approved by the court, and Tom didn't include that in there.
Training, Jimmy spent $1,810.14 this year. His budget went down to 1,000. I spoke to him, I said, is that enough if you are hiring another employee? And he said, we probably ought to bump that to $1,500.
1,500, yes.
You want to bump it up to 1,500?
Okay. Because at the time, he was just budgeting for one other.
Okay. Tom's got that? $4,600 will go to 1,500.
Judge, I want to ask on page 26, going back, because I saw that department called other governmental agencies, that way we separate out the way we pay all those other entities. I don't think I think we should take a look at governmental out and put other agencies, because I don't know governmental agencies without these.
So we talked about that a little bit. We do need to, I do, I'm glad you went back to that. On the Comal County Senior Citizens, that was the Meals on Wheels deal that we were doing. Comal is not doing that anymore. So that is going to need, we're going to continue to budget that $4,000, but that is going to go to Celrico. That is, remember Veronica that came in and visited with me? Veronica is one of Ryan Guillen's assistants. That's on another hat that she wears is food stuff. Celrico came in, and this is an ACOG related, since I'll sit on that board. They did not, Comal did not even submit a bid for those senior meals on wheels, until Rico came in as the company that came in and rescued that. And so the $4,000 just for the court, yeah, we'll leave the $4,000 in, it just won't go Comal County, it'll go to Celrico.
Okay.
SELRIT.
You'll change the name to other agencies and take out the word governmental, and then they're not governmental.
Yes, we can.
That was on me.
Yeah, we can. I'm okay with that.
Governmental and then non-governmental?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna take governmental off.
Just other agencies is fine.
And then I was asked two other things on the JP2, JP4 facilities. Are they gonna be more than just the JPs, the constables and all that? Should we still call them something different, like a resource deal, or is it JP2 facility or JP4 facility?
Service
It's gonna be
center.
utilized, but.
Service center.
Precinct service center.
Service center.
Precinct Service Center.
Service center? Okay.
Precinct Service Center.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Precinct
Judge, I'm gonna go back to the original thing we had, and I know here, did we ever find out the price, Wayne, did you find out the price for the pavement?
Provided you guys a printout. It's what we discussed last time.
For public transparency, the amount to include striping and extending the parking lot was $226,769.01.
This would be a one-time fee. We got these other non-governmental things that we donate money to that's every year.
Yes, sir. Those numbers are $25,000 to the Historical Society. It's $10,000 to the Humane Organization. It's $20,000 to Soil and Water Conservation. Historical Commission. I asked the judge to put this in, but it's $10,000 to Crime Stoppers for Karnes County. It's a much smaller percentage.
But you,
Yes, it says here.
paving this parking lot would benefit the whole county.
It's a very similar argument, Commissioner Lissy, to the Escondido Creek Parkway, which I brought up in my initial.
Yeah, we gave them all 40,000.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
So we gave them each $40,000 apiece. Each one of those benefit the county. I think Commissioner Beatrix at 50,000. With the 40,000, I felt like was a good one-time donation to the show barn. I don't know what Commissioner Beatrix is, and I don't know what Commissioner Rosales and Commissioner Geisler.
We gave $40,000 to each county, right?
We did.
This would be for all the counties in the county. The show barn. The whole county benefits from it. All the schools benefit from it.
Honestly, I would support the 250. And the math works out, if we gave 40 to each town, that's 200, that's 160, isn't it?
Paving the existing parking area was 118, 198, 12.
I don't know, maybe if all the entities pitched in, the county, the school districts, because everybody uses it, the cities, I'm not saying that they use it, let's just say everybody pitches in a portion, if you get a little bit better.
San Antonio River Authority, they use it for the hazardous waste.
Everybody uses it.
And that's good. I mean, it's wonderful that we have that. But also you got to remember that the county's being, we provide porta potties out there because we can't use the bathrooms for food things. So.
I think it benefits everybody. One time cost, one time, it's over.
We've heard it.
In all the years we've used it for 25 years. All the school kids have gone through there.
Commissioner Lucy, you brought up here earlier that this is a yearly thing here that we've done. What's to say that we didn't make a donation this year and next year they were good stewards of those funds and made great improvements and we wanted to help again? I think maybe revisit at that time, but I would still support 50,000. It's not quite half of paving the existing parking lot, but again, I think they should have some skin in the game. And I think that'd be a really good step in the right direction for them.
I like that number, 50,000.
My opinion, court, my opinion, court, it's the 226,000, okay, that's a number to go ahead and get it all paid. But let's just say for an example, the 250 passes, the 250,000 passes today. If it's 226,000, what are they gonna do with 50,000 to pay? That's gonna be nonsense. Everybody needs to get together with all the entities and see if everybody that uses it, pitch in, see what our cost is gonna be, because we've been here a long time, and everybody looks at us as we have deep pockets. We don't have deep pockets. Everybody's money runs out. I'm not for funding all of it, not that everybody uses it. For somebody, not me, but somebody that wants it done, go all to the entities and see if everybody pitch in, present the 226, and then we'll see what percentage we can throw in. And everybody throws in a percentage if they want to. I don't know if everybody would do it, but let's see if everybody does it, and then we have a percentage of it, and then that's a community project, a county project.
We need to, I think we should put a number in there as a donation, and it's a one-time deal. We're going to present y'all with this donation this year, and then it's up to the show board. It shouldn't be our job to go out and hustle on behalf of the show board. to solicit money to get their paving project done.
True.
I mean, that's not our job. I mean, I know the board, I have great relationships with most of the board. Love the kids, support the kids with my money. This is taxpayer dollars that we're spending.
So, if Judge, Commissioner's Court, we give $1, we give 50,000, we give 250, something, we know that's for the paving, but if we do a donation for this, just say for example, 50,000, what is just a donation? They can use it on patching the roof, cutting the grass, paving. They can use it on re-sheeting the one.
If we give them $50,000, they can do whatever they want with it. If they want to pour concrete with it, they can do it. It's going to be a one-time donation, and if they want to go out and solicit more monies to pave their parking lot, then they can do that. That's not our job, and we don't need to be in the business of getting in the show board's business. I would think that they'd be extremely thankful for a $40,000 or $50,000 donation to help get their parking lot paved. Are we still on page 28 of 31? Are we stuck here until we come up with a number for a donation amount?
What is everybody, we have 2 for 250, right?
Yes.
And we have 2 for 250, and then we have 2 for 50?
I'm good with, I think he was 40 or 50, but again, the 250.
50,000.
And I'm good with 50, but if you're 250, the total that Wayne and Benny put together was only 226. Where's the 250? I mean,
Well, hey, let's go with 226.
Yeah, I would do 226, 769.
2 or 226, and you're 50, and yeah, I think you're 50. I'll jump on the 50, let's move forward.
okay, we'll contribute $50,000 one-time donation to the Karnes County Youth Show.
Judge, what were you changing the name for the Canal County?
SEL.
SELRICO, Celerico. And I'll get more information to you from Ms. Veronica.
So it's
RICO, Rico. Yeah, we'll put it out of the donation. Up to y'all. Following up.
Page 1 on the road and bridges. The 200,380,999.
You want to continue, Commissioner? You want me to pass this out?
I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Hey, I thought that we've discussed this. Passing this stuff out is, we're not, that's not fair to the court to not have this prior to. And I thought that the court agreed that we weren't gonna have pass outs in court anymore.
I would definitely appreciate to have everything ahead of time. Spend the weekend looking through here, and I'm doing the best I can to make decisions.
I'm more than happy to take it back. This is going to help the whole process. I mean, and I'm more than happy to do that, but whether I just read it off to you guys or you got something to look at, there's nothing.
Well, I don't understand why Wayne is even up here. If we have a question for him, I mean, he can sit down there. I mean, he's fine to stand up here, but I don't need a presentation from Wayne. I'm giving y'all the budget that Wayne presented me.
No, sir, you're not.
I am, Wayne.
No, sir, you're not.
Wayne, you're not gonna sit up here and argue with me. You're gonna show this court respect, or I can have you removed.
Well, I understand that, Judge.
I need you to understand that.
I do.
I am presenting the budget. I have gone over it. Commissioner Beatrice has seen it, and he's seen the notes that you gave me. And that is what I put exactly in your budget outside of the email that you sent to Tom and myself about wanting to move funds out of one of these to 230. This is the exact budget that you presented me. I did not say no to anything. I put the exact numbers for 100% transparency. I put the exact numbers that you gave me. Commissioner Beatrice has seen those numbers whenever he came and went over it with me. Each one of the other commissioners have always been more than welcome to come and sit with me prior to a budget meeting to ask me a question. I'm happy to do that. We're not discussing on how we're voting. We're not breaking any
Judge,
rules on
if you
that.
don't want this, then that's fine, but, you know, I'm just gonna say that, no, the product that I reviewed is not what I presented to you. I'm happy to go ahead and have Commissioner Geisler ask me the questions, and I'll go through the explanations here.
It was, the transfer in from fund balance, item 380-9999.
Yes, sir. One of the clarifications we need to make, and Tom, Tom had to step out, but Tom discussed this with me. We came up with this last week, and Tom pointed out that the fund transfer that we made last year's budget, or this current year's budget, was made out of Road and Bridge regular. All right? We're not gonna have the fund balance to make that budget transfer out of Road and Bridge regular again this year. It's gonna have to come from the general fund. So, what I've recommended to all the commissioners is, and if this is after we got your budget judge, was that, we're gonna need to go ahead and take that money out of the general fund. Now, there is a nice part to this, because, let me, we're gonna have to take that out of there because the fund amount we're going to have in Fund 200 is going to only be $4.7 million. So that's the reason we need to take the 1496 out of the Road and Bridge Fund. The other part I'll say is we can actually reduce the amount that has to come out of the general fund if we go ahead and relocate GL 200's 380 4390 to Fund 201, because that money can then be utilized, the money we have in that fund can then be utilized to help fund that, and it'll actually take about $3 million off of 14 million.
What number was that again?
If you look, Commissioner, if you look at, let's see here, it's, you take that money out of 200, 380, 4390, that's local capital maintenance. If we take that and we put the same amount in Fund 201, and 201 in a new GL line item, then we'll be able to cover that with the Fund 201 number. So we would place a new line item in Fund 201. We would zero out GL 200, 380, 490. And that would make a subsequent change to the amount that we would have to budget to transfer out of the general fund into Road and Bridge.
Commissioner Deasler, can you tell me the 200, what's the line item number?
It's 201's all I'm getting, I'm looking for that.
Page 205.
Well, I'm looking at what Mr. Deasler presented to me in my notes that I transcribed onto his budget. This is what he gave me in our budget.
Correct. This transaction.
201, what?
The 201 number that I'm talking about creating wasn't in the original because nobody that was in the conversation back in April realized that there wasn't going to be enough money in Fund 200 number.
Then how am I supposed to
Judge, you never provided me in your budget workshop in your budget worksheets that I have here, that I filled out, that is exactly what I gave to you. You never provided me those revenue accounts. That's the reason I'm trying to provide this information and work collaboratively with the court, like the road and bridge engineer is statutorily required to do. That wasn't in the sheets that you provided.
Well, I don't have I don't even have the 201. What's the 201 now? I don't have that in.
201 is road and bridge special. It's a fund account.
Oh, it is special.
And you don't have that in the original budget worksheets.
This is on the
Yeah, I see the 201 road and bridge special.
And you're saying do what now?
What I'm saying is that if we take GL 200, 380, 4390, and we take it to zero, and we create a new line item in Fund 201, with the last four letters being 4390, and we put the same amount of money in 201, it will reduce the $14,496,200.91 down by that $3,149,500. I'll be happy to let you guys look at this. I think it will help.
And it's 200, 680, not 380, right?
200, 380, I believe it's 680. 680, all right, very good. 680, 4390. Zero that one, to take that one to zero. And then create a new line item called 201, 681-4391, call it local capital maintenance. Make that one $3,149,500.
Commissioner Beatrice, was one of the commissioners writing on, somebody writing all this down to?
It's right here.
I don't care. That's not fair to any other elected official
It's not
or.
fair. I'm managing my budget, Judge.
I am the budget officer and you manage it with me to present to this court.
I understand that, and I'm trying to.
I don't think that you do that.
I think I do.
201, 681, 4391, local capital maintenance. Is that correct?
Local capital projects maintenance,
Is it projects or?
The new line item in Fund 201 would be 201-681-4391. The title would be the same as it is currently, which is local capital maintenance.
the currently one, this is local capital projects maintenance.
I thought it said local capital maintenance, but it says local capital projects.
Local capital projects dash NTC.
Then that would be the correct title.
What is the reasoning to create, if the money's already there, why aren't we just using that money?
We certainly could, Judge, but what we would do by doing this is number one, we would reduce the draw on the general fund by $3 million, which would, I believe, have positive impact on the general fund revenue. And number two, it would finally centralize all the maintenance and rehab projects that we have under Fund 201. Long-term, that's been my goal the whole time, was to get all of our maintenance and rehab projects under Fund 201. All the operations for road and bridge can then be under Fund 200. Eventually, when the capital programs go away, the Fund 200 budget will drop by about $17 million.
repair dropped by about 17 million.
We've been funding annually about
Yes.
$17 million for the capital.
Right.
And so, once we get all the roads completed,
Right.
we won't have any more capital improvements to make.
What are we, 2, 3, 4 years? Two?
About 2 to 3 years at the outside, but 2 years is what we're trying to shoot for.
And after that, then all the roads will be paved and it's just maintaining.
And it'll be, yes, so it'll be, what we'll be doing after that, we'll be doing the pavement maintenance, and we'll have to go back in and install some drainage, do some pavement reconstruction, due to the fact that, the roads that were paved before we got here are failing. Pretty much, some of them didn't have that infrastructure.
I don't see the need to start creating whenever you're not done with, you've been working with that budget, and it's been working fine to do all that, so whenever you finish paving, then why don't we make this change then, so we're not having to then make another change in 2 years when you're done paving, and then go back and have to redo the whole thing again.
Is that this, Judge, honestly, if we do that, it's not gonna hurt me. I'm just trying to save about a $3 million transfer out of the general fund into the road and bridge.
Why are we needing to transfer $3 million in the road and bridge?
Again, in order to fund the 200, you don't have enough money to take out of the road and bridge fund. So you have to take, the options are basically either stop building roads this year or transfer funds out of the general fund revenue into road and bridge.
Collective report, so his fund balance in road and bridge at the beginning of this year was 13,776,6,253, and the special was 6,214,534.79. His budget this year is based on utilizing some of his fund balance, $13 million.
Right. In fact, this Tom, after we talked, I actually went and did a projection. I suspect that after we get through, based on my projections for the rest of the year, we should have about $4.773 million left in road and bridge regular. So that's the reason for that. That we need to be really clear about where the 14 million and change is going to come from. That's what I'm saying.
They have to decide.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You said it's either gonna come out of the general fund or we can move over the 3.1 million from one line item to another line item to
The
201.
general fund will fund it, I guess that's what he's at, what are you asking?
That's correct. I mean, what we're gonna have to do is, if we're going to transfer in $14,496,200.91, then it will need to come to the general fund. The rest of the fund balances too, in all the funds, in road and bridge regular, we should have a fund balance of 4.7 million. In road and bridge special, we're gonna have a fund balance of about 6.2 million. The other one, which is the lateral funds, is going to have a budget account balance of about $4,700. Those numbers, the lateral funds number is a amount that basically that fund is there to receive money from the state when they give it to us, which is, it's a minimal amount. The other two funds, well, my goal has been 2 years ago, we had $30 million in Karnes County Road and Bridge regular. We've funded our capital improvements the last 2 years out of Road and Bridge regular. This year we will not have enough money to do that. We've still got 2 years left. So, in order to keep the capital programs going, we're going to have to go ahead and take that $14 million in change and from the general fund. In the meantime, we're going to have the regular fund will have 4.7, the special will have 6.2. Those are both amounts. They're essentially a savings account, and they equate to roughly about a 1 year operating for both of those accounts. The regular is typically, I've been wanting to get to the point where we're using the regular to fund our operations, and then the road and bridge special, we basically fund all of our maintenance activities.
So you're out of money and you need $13 million from the general fund to continue funding your budget.
No, I need $13 million, I need the money we're talking about transferring in from the general fund in order to continue to fund the capital program that the court wants to continue to do, I assume. If you don't, then that would mean we would stop work on, in the next fiscal year on the capital improvements. See, the thing about it is, when I inherited this program, nobody was making that distinction. Well, that's the reason we have a huge budget, is because we're paving the roads. And because if we're going to continue to do that, we can't pull it out of the road and bridge fund like we've been discussing for the last 2 years. I've got to get those funds from the general fund.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Why do you have to get the funds from the general fund?
Because of the funds that we have been using for the last 2 years to pay for our capital improvements are going to have to be pulled from somewhere.
CTIP money has gone away.
It's not about CTIP.
But the CTIP was funding, that was $13-14 million that the county received from the CTIP grant. That has gone away.
But
And so
Judge,
you have to scale your department down to work.
that's incorrect.
You should. I
No,
mean,
Judge,
you should.
that's incorrect.
Can I talk, Wayne, please?
You can continue talking, but then I can correct it.
You should have to work in within your budget, just like everybody else works within their budget. If you run out of money and you're not gonna get the CTIP, then you either need to downsize your department and start doing some of that stuff in-house or continue to sub it out, but adjust to that project, those projects accordingly. That's what everybody else does.
Okay, Judge, here's the deal. The first year I was here, the money for the capital improvements came out of the general fund. The second year I was here, the money for the capital improvements came out of the general fund. The third year I was here, the money for the capital improvements came out of the general fund. Once we completed those in year 3, we started submitting those funds, those receipts, back to TxDOT, and they sent us money to go into the road and bridge funds. Then, did it go in the road and bridge funds, Tom, or go in the general fund?
Sir?
Did it go in, no, the CTIP money did go back into the road and bridge funds,
Yeah,
correct?
it's your road and
All right,
bridge
so
fund.
we're up to year 3. Year 4, the money came out of the general fund. Year 5, the money came out of the general fund. Year 6, I started taking the money out of, and this was all discussed in this courtroom, in this budget hearing. Year 6, I started taking the money out of the road and bridge regular fund because we were developing a budget surplus in there that was excessive. It had $30 million in it, so we paid for that in year 6. Year 7, this is year 7. We then took it out of road and bridge regular. We've actually gotten us down to where we can have a reasonable fund that will have about a year's worth of operations. Now, in order to go ahead and move forward with the capital program that this court authorizes, I recommend that this court authorizes it. At this point, we're going to have to make a decision. If I need to scale back, believe me, I can scale back. But I don't think that anybody on this court wants to quit paving the roads whenever it took us so long to get started on them. So, I mean, it's up to you guys. We can do maintenance all next year and years to come. But what I'm telling you is there's plenty of money in the general fund to treat this just like the building programs. We can actually do this. We've got the momentum. In 2 years, we'll be through paving. So that's the reason my recommendation stands is I'm recommending to you guys to take $14,496,000, $496,200.91 out of the general fund and place it in road and bridge, with the expectation we're going to use it to complete the capital budget that was proposed at our meeting, Judge.
Okay, have a seat. I'm gonna read through the budget workshop that whenever Mr. Geether and I sat down for transparency. Okay, whenever I went through, this is Fund 200, starting at 200,680. This is what each one of the commissioners have that Tom has presented, and these are the notes that I took. I went down from 1014 all the way down to 680, 3541. Went down with Wayne and checked off, all of that stayed the same. On 680, 1015, Tom, what are we coding to this? Because there is a $2,633.73 per cell phone. Thank you. Next page, 680, 3545, which was supplies, field and safety, stayed at 20,000, and 40,000 now for the uniform boot allowance. Random drug testing stayed at 4,000. The 4,000 for telephone, I put to Jimmy. The conference expense stayed at 4,000. The local capital projects, the number that I have, Tom, adjust to balance. That was $16,698,000. Local capital projects, 680,4390 was 0,000, and then 24-25 budget was a 3.149,500, 3,149,500, and I put that number back in there. That's what the meeting. 33,149,500. Y'all see this, right? Court. These are my notes from my meeting with Wayne. Utilities stayed to 15, or we increased to 15,000. The heavy equipment repairs 150,000. Parts 60,000. We went up 10,000 there. 20,000 in the equipment rental. We went to stayed at 22,000 for general engineering services. Equipment acquisitions was to 0. Capital outlay, we have a lift and road and bridge shop for 25,000, and it says do that now, and then we're going to zero that out. Training bond, light equipment repairs. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, sir, but on 4607, you said there was supposed to be 25,000 in there?
Capital outlay 46. Is it? Okay. 15. Okay.
We changed it to 25,000.
I do have 25. It is probably my writing, Tom. And so that should be 25 for the notes.
25?
Yeah. Back to hotspots, air cards was the 540. And then in the CTIP grant, we're done, and that's not, no funding is going to be provided. That's from the legislator. Then we're going to road and bridge special. I don't have no notes for that.
That's correct.
And lateral roads fund 225. That's Michelle's note that wasn't printed, so I didn't have the lateral road 225. And that is the budget that I prepared for y'all from the court, from my budget meeting with Mr. Giesler.
May I judge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the document that I brought to you and handed to you in there. Now, I don't know
Right here.
where, and I'm not really interested in exactly. This is the document. Well, yes, it is, but if you would pass this down, what I was trying to say, Judge, and again, the 201 changes, you don't want to make them, that's fine. I'm just trying to save the county, $3 million in your general fund.
But why couldn't you you could have talked to me about that 2 weeks ago.
Well, because I didn't find out about it until about a week ago. Subsequent to that,
You could have talked to me about it a week ago.
subsequent to that, I sent you an email, carbon copy Tom, describing the need for this new line item.
It was like a one-line sentence. I'll be happy to provide that to you.
I understand what it was, I wrote it. But what
Okay, so, I mean, there was no detail
I
to
don't
it.
understand what the issue is. I am statutorily required to make a recommendation, Judge. Statutorily, I'm required to give it to the court. and
Watch
I'm
your
doing
tone.
that.
Watch your tone.
I'm just telling you that that's what I'm required to do.
I'm required to put together a budget and present it to the court.
And you did, it's great. There have been some things, we started this in April. There have been things that came up, and there are things that were not placed on there, like in GL 200, 680, 1215. You took out the $10,000 that's been there the last 2 years.
Say it again. 200.
200, 680, 1215. You took out the $10,000 that you talked about not doing last year. Again, you took it out this year.
Judge
And I
Magistrate.
wasn't gonna be horsey about it.
Yeah, this is,
And I had $10,000 in the line item I just told you, and you took it out.
Wayne, can you be quiet for a second?
Oh, sure.
Gentlemen,
Okay.
can I back up just to reset here a little, please? If we go back to page 1, the whole discussion started with
Yeah,
revenue item 200,380,999, transferring from funds balance the amount of $14,496,200.91. My understanding is that is what we expected to be left over from this year's budget. We're going to transfer in as revenue to use in this year's budget, correct?
In order to balance the budget.
In order to balance it.
Correct.
But that number is not accurate because you say we're only going to have $4.7 million.
No, the $4.7 million, I project only having to actually pull out of this year's budget because of the fine management and work to be done. I only expect having to pull out $9 million out of that. That's gonna leave 4 point whatever I was telling you earlier. And so that's gonna be able to be remaining in the budget on 10/1 of this year, so the start of the fiscal year. So it obviously won't be enough to fund $14,496,000, which I appreciate the judge leaving that in there because he left it in there because we need to continue building the road.
Yeah, that's what you and I talked about.
That's exactly right, but the fund budget won't allow that to happen. The road bridge fund budget, we can't pull it out of there because there's not that much money in there, so it has to come out of the general fund. Or we don't build roads. Everything else in my budget is fine. I'll be glad to go through the rest of it, the line item adjustments.
I mean, I read the line item adjustments, those were exactly what you presented to me and I presented to the court.
No, sir.
Wait, it is.
Judge, we can agree, disagree, there was obviously some miscommunication. The document Michelle handed you, that she said, this is what I gave you, that's what's right here. That's what I was trying to hand out. And if you look on that document, GL 200-680-1215 has $10,000 on there.
Okay.
Your proposed budget.
I'm sorry about
No,
$10,000, Wayne, if I made a mistake on that, on 10,000.
There's more, Judge. And you know, I'm happy to have the discussion with you. I really didn't want it to come out where it was you against me. But at this point, I'd like to go ahead and just go through them and say, hey, here's what I need. And just put it out there. Y'all can make the changes. It's gonna be easier than any changes you've had except for this discussion. And just to say it, I'll give you another example, Judge. Look at 201-681-499.
Here's what I'd like to say. We were all given rules, and the department heads would all love this opportunity to come in and say, I wasn't prepared, or I overlooked, and I didn't communicate to the judge. But we never get this opportunity.
Okay.
We always go by the rules that are given to us in advance, by the date, we coordinate to meet with the judge, and then anything else after that is communicated via email, and that's it. We don't have this opportunity to come in here before the commissioners and say, hey, I also want to add this. I didn't include it, but I also want to do this. And I also want to add this. Or you know what? Let's do away with this line item and let's double this next line item. We never have that opportunity. We're given a set of rules. We're given a set of rules. But for some reason, not everybody has to abide by it.
Okay.
We would all love that same opportunity.
Let me go over, take a look at what I gave you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Take a look at what I gave you, Judge, and I'll be happy to provide, I got copies here for everybody. But take a look at 201-681-4990, miscellaneous expense. How much did I include on that?
Where's that?
That's a very good question. It wasn't on the documents that I submitted for discussion. And in fairness to Judge, I think it's a typo.
201-681.
681-4990. Just to say it, I would never budget $391,000 or $390,000, whichever in your proposed budget. I would never budget $390,000 as a miscellaneous expense.
Mr. Eastler, if I want to refresh your memory, we have a zero balance budget. So if you have $5,000 of revenue, you have 4,500 expense, we've always used that miscellaneous line item to get you to zero.
I understand, Doctor, but what I'm telling you is that was not in my proposal.
And what I just said is I put that in there so your expenses and your revenue would equal zero and not have a surplus.
How much was in there the year before, Tom?
What?
How much was in that line item the year before, based on your proposed budget?
Zero.
That's right.
Okay?
That's because
So
I
you have a
put that
surplus
in
this
there.
year, and you have more revenue at 201, so you can't have a surplus in the bottom line.
Right, and so that wasn't
So you gotta
discussed
do
with
something
me.
with it.
That wasn't discussed with me. And we're supposed to work together on that. That's part of my job in the unit system as a road engineer. So all I'm telling you is that there's several things that were left out. For instance, I'll give you another one. 201-681-4360. That's in the document that I gave you, Judge. It was supposed to be $500,000.
201-601.
681-4360.
4360. 27, last year was budgeted for emergency response, 681-4360. Commissioner Beatrick and I talked about that. That money needs to be in there for.
Well, the thing about it is in the document I submitted to you, Judge, that amount was $500,000. In the proposed budget.
Right underneath, there's 4365 emergency response COU of $500,000. Can y'all please explain to me the difference between your emergency
Sure.
response?
When
which has
we
been zeroed
first
out,
started
and your
this, and
emergency
this has
response?
come up in the last 2 years, Commissioner. When we first started this, Commissioner O'Brien had this line item put in so we could have $500,000 to do emergency response. And we've had it there, and then the year after we had that, the judge added a emergency response court order item.
Okay.
All right? And that was and basically the way it's been used, the emergency response is to allow rapid response by Karnes County to weather emergencies and other unplanned road failures. That was Commissioner O'Brien's reason for putting that in there.
So I didn't, just for clarification, I didn't scratch it. It just didn't, Tom just didn't put it in there. I didn't scratch your 500.
Right, and Judge,
Hey,
and Judge, I get that.
one at a time, please.
Well, I'd like to go ahead and do this. Judge, whenever you first started this and started making a big deal, all I have is a list of these things, these discrepancies. This is all a list of the things that didn't happen. There's no reason to point fingers or say, I didn't do something, or you didn't do something.
But you just told the court that I took it out. I'm
No,
not
I
pointing
didn't say that,
fingers.
Judge. I'm
And
trying.
I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you.
Well, no, but you'll pontificate against me, Judge.
So gentlemen,
And so,
may I understand
I'm
correctly
just
that?
making it
Commissioner
so
Beatrick.
I can do my job.
Wayne, can you have a seat, please?
Sure.
Gentlemen, we don't need to argue here. It sounds to me like 201-681-4360 emergency response was accidentally not put in here. The judge had it on his.
It needs to be 500.
We need to add it back to that. item.
Yes.
You're gonna say that again?
It was 201-681-4360 emergency response should be $500,000.
Right.
Yes.
4365 should be zero. It's still the same bottom line, but there is no 4365.
There is no 4365.
Okay, so
Yeah, there's no 4365 in your document. I just put on the wrong line, my bottom line's still the same.
Okay, that's where it is. Typo.
I'd like to back up, gentlemen, please, to page 2 of Road and Bridge. It was 200-680-1215. Overtime emergency response. It's also blank. In discussion with our Road and Bridge engineer, he said it had previously been budgeted $10,000. I talked to the judge earlier. He said, I think that was a typo as well.
Yes.
I think we should put 10,000 back in there.
Absolutely.
So I would propose.
Say that line item again.
Line item 200-680-1215. Overtime emergency response. That is supposed to fund our employees, and they are working to resolve an emergency situation.
Yes, 10,000 in that.
On the same page, line item 200, 680, 4200, telephone of $5,000. I think that's probably a typo as well. Aren't all the phones going to IT?
He should have no phone. They're all shut off already.
Yeah, I have $4,000 with a question mark and then Jimmy.
So, in this packet, it's at 5,000. I would propose we strike it to 0 because it's been moved to IT.
Tom,
I
did you-
think on the road and bridge, is the cell phones at 3,960 on the business budget, the hotspots.
Yes.
1,000.
So the telephone should be scratched to be 0 and absorbed into the
I got
IT budget.
landlines too over there, I think.
No.
It all goes through internet. And we have like $50,000 in IT budget for telephones.
Yeah, he has no phone lines, no landlines.
Yeah.
Everything's internet based. Yeah.
I'd like to talk about fuel and heavy equipment repairs. I would start with fuel, which was line item 200, 680, 3,300. Last year, we budgeted $210,000.
275.
I'm sorry, where did I- Well, we currently have 275,000 here in the budget. It looks like in the 24 to 25 budget, we had 210,000 budgeted. We have spent $135,000. I don't understand the need to increase it that much. Yes,
We
sir.
budgeted 275, but we did a budget amendment and moved 65 out of there to another line. I don't know, I have to go back and see which one.
Okay, we moved that
We
60,
did
that
budget
was,
275 last year.
okay, well, that,
But we did an amendment, for amendment.
that comes back to why I was bringing this up.
To heavy equipment repair.
Yes, sir, that's right. Said heavy equipment repair. You see, we budgeted the 275 then. We've only spent 135,000. We want to budget 275,000 again. But we had enough money to move 65,000 into heavy equipment repairs. I don't think that's a good representation of the use of our funds. Well, my proposal would be to increase our heavy equipment repairs, which is currently sitting at 150,000, to closer to 200,000, and bring fuel back down. And you had some input, sir.
275 is put in, the 275,000 has historically been that amount. It certainly could be cut. I don't see the need to actually add it to the heavy equipment.
Okay.
Because we don't have that regularly. But if we keep the 275 in there in case we have some special occurrence, we used to need it a lot more often because we had so much roads to do motor grader work on.
Okay.
We don't have to have that much anymore. That said, whenever you get into a situation where we do have a weather-related storm, it's nice to have that there so that we can actually buy it. When we put the fuel system in there, that's also put in, and I'm not sure, I didn't hear the judge talk about whether or not it's in there. but-
It is 122,000.
122,000, we're gonna put the fuel management system in there. Having that much money in there gives us the flexibility to basically fill up and then allow time for the auditor to allocate funds out of using the fuel management system so it can be pulled out. If you wanna reduce that to 250, it's certainly not gonna hurt my operations.
Any of the rest of the court have thoughts on that?
We can take, I'm fine taking it down to 250, if that's the number that you want to go with, Commissioner.
Doesn't hurt, I don't think it hurts either.
Court?
I'm waiting for Commissioner, what he thinks is, what's in his mind on that. Rob?
250, I think would at least be better. We've got, a few years ago, we spent 237,000, but then we spent,
I'm okay with 250.
Yeah, 250 is fine, we can work with that.
so we'll change fuel to 250,000. And you said you don't believe we need to increase heavy equipment repairs because that was just a fluke incident.
No, that's exactly right. We've got a pretty good handle on all of our repair budgets. And so, I mean, we've raised that over several years, and we've got sufficient slack in there to where, we can take the ups and downs.
From what I can see, everything's been resolved except, well, stuff that we've been talking about, except 14 million out of the general, or moving that 3.1 million out of local cap projects and put it into 201. What is the miscellaneous?
You need that large of a burden if you're gonna do that.
I'm sorry,
You would not need that large of a burden if you're
Correct.
gonna do that.
if we move the $3.1 million and move it from this line item into 201, then that'll reduce, taking out of the general fund down to about 11 million.
Just to your credit, Tom.
That would be the right, that would be the best option.
Wayne, have a seat, please. Please have a seat.
And this amount of money, the 14 million right there, that's gonna be, the capital projects that we have going in. That's if we're gonna keep on paving the roads, and all the infrastructure on the roads, and, doing all the hydraulic studies and improving our roads for all the farmers, ranchers and all that. That's basically what that money's for. That's not to operate the general, just the regular road and bridge. This is just to take care of our roads out there.
Local capital.
Yes,
Local capital projects.
yes, those are capital projects. I'm fine with that, doing the 14, not the whole 14, moving the 3.1 million, 3,149,500 from line level 200, 680, 4390, get it out of there. So Tom, we still leave that one there, or we just disregard that one, I won't?
And you disregard
Disregard the right.
200, but if you're gonna lessen that 14 by that amount.
Yes, we'll move it to,
You make sure that's not gonna happen every year, so that's.
no, I got you, and then move it to,
Can't.
move it to the
I
fund.
know.
Move it to the fund 201 Road and Bridge Special under 201-681-4391, create a new line item.
Yes,
So
sir.
those numbers, and it'll be local cap projects, maintenance for that amount that I said. And that'll reduce, take it out of the general
I
fund.
like round numbers, what if we just say even 10 million? Instead of going 10 million, 100 or whatever.
I'm sorry, I'm lost.
You know what I mean? The two, what's the difference in the two?
It'd be 11,
And the three.
that would still be 11, 3 in there or
You know what I'm saying,
something.
why not just do 10? Or 11, I mean, even though it's up to you all, but I look like even numbers. You just
Eleven
think
three would be more appropriate, that's what we.
I'm sorry, what?
The 11.3 that you would end up with would be appropriate.
Well, if we move it over to 3.1 million, you're gonna end up with, yeah, it'll end up about 11.3. So
It would be appropriate.
if you want to do a raw number, 11.3?
That's fine.
Okay. Well, that's what I would like done, and Tom, as our auditor, agrees with that, it's gonna be best for the general fund. So this is just, I think we've done everything on road and bridge, this is the last one, the last step that I see here. I'm not sure, but I got,
There's one more.
sir?
Yes,
sir.
If I may,
Okay, finish this one, please.
Have a seat,
I
Wayne.
would agree with what you said. I think when you've got, I think, less than 100 miles of road left to do,
Let's knock them out.
I would 100% agree to knock those out. So that's what we need to
And then
do.
in 2 years, we'll start reducing this budget.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
I agree with that too.
And these are good infrastructures that we're doing on these roads. The ones that we have culverts, they're 89 years and they're still sustaining some of the roads. So this infrastructure that we're doing is very, very, very solid, good. They'll last 50, 100 years, some of them. So I think,
I'm good with that.
okay, so, Monsieur, I'm good, you're good with it?
Do you have those numbers recorded correctly, Ms. Leal and Tom, you have them to reflect? Okay. Mhm. Okay, you know, what page you're on to now?
Yeah, question. What is your question?
There's one other item that did not make the proposed budget. It was a new line item, we're requesting for facility yard maintenance in the amount of $20,000. We would like that to go under GL 201. It was in the stuff we talked about, Judge, it probably just didn't make the cut.
And that is strictly for just the yard?
Yes, sir. It's gonna be used to allow us to maintain the gate opener that we have at the yard, the paving oil tanks, our septic system, when we have to deal with that. We have outside yard lighting and building lighting. We have our new shop lighting that we'll have to deal with. We're gonna have the fuel stations.
That's not maintenance to me, that's more capital improvement of your property.
No, no, Judge, that's actually maintenance on all those things that are there. We're not proposing to build them, we're proposing to be able to maintain.
Okay, I thought you said you were gonna put yard lights and new lights.
No, sir, that's already
The
there.
existing ones, right?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
They're existing ones?
They're existing, everything I just mentioned is existing, that's correct.
You want to create a new line?
Renee does,
I'm sorry.
anything Renee does needs to be charged to your budget, not Renee's budget.
Well, this is different from the building maintenance
Renee has
stuff.
lots of stuff over there, Judge, I'll make sure my burden is Renee.
Right. This would be stuff that, the stuff that I've listed, I'm requesting this item because these systems that I'm talking about are critical to our operations. We need to be able to repair them quickly. And so that's the reason we're putting them up there. It's putting them in there because we have to be able to repair them quickly. If the court wanted to put them in there, they can. Like Renee's not gonna know how to deal with our paving oil tanks, our fuel stations. This is something that's really customized to our staff that we have to be up to date on.
This is a new line item you're looking for, that's an outside facility maintenance question. How have we been maintaining that before? We haven't had any problems, they're aging or? what's going
Well,
on?
we're just not, we haven't been tracking that cost. We've been taking care of it like the fuel systems, we'll charge it for fuel. This would be a way of tracking the cost of those systems. And that's how we would do it.
What a month?
$20,000.
And that takes care of all the yard?
That'll take care of all the yard, yes, sir. And with regard to the fuel system, when we put the fuel systems in, it'll take care of the fuel systems in all of the yards.
I don't have a problem with that, but that's, I don't have a problem with that.
How would that be different from, building maintenance and repairs?
The reason it's different from building maintenance and repairs is that yard's an operational facility. We have operational things that have to happen there. So if the gate, for instance, goes down, we gotta get that gate fixed immediately. And, fuel stations, we have to keep the fuel stations going. Those are all systems that we operate in Road and Bridge from unique to us, and so that's the reason we were proposing.
Why don't we just put $20,000 extra dollars in building maintenance and repairs, and then you can track it from maybe.
It can certainly be done that way, Judge, but what's gonna happen then is, there's a delay between requesting stuff to get done and it getting done. This way I can actually manage it, get the stuff done responsibly, and, overnight we have to get people out there and do that particular work. So I don't have to answer those questions, we just have the money there, it gets done.
Is that because like in the 200 accounts you would have to get a PO and in the 201s you don't? Is that, I don't understand how that would make it quicker for you. I don't understand how that would make it quicker for you.
There is delay associated with, a thing going down, calling somebody in another department, asking them to do that, and that all takes time. These types of systems, we have to have them up and running. So if I have to make a repair, buy a part, I can get my people out there, I can have them operating on it overnight if I have to, because the comp time and stuff, it's to allow us to keep our projects and our multi-million-dollar operation up.
Even have a call over there, maybe we'll check there.
Right.
So anything spent out of 200 for building maintenance, we'd have to call Renee, but anything
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. That's different than the facility, that's what I'm calling it, facility.
I don't know.
Yard maintenance.
Okay. So I understand that allows them to speed up, I just didn't understand why we have to call Renee. If the gate went down, I don't either.
I kind of resent that.
But I mean,
EMS comes every time when their gates go down, and I'm on it. I had no issues. They had issues?
I think if there's an extra $20,000 required, just put an additional $20,000 in building repair and maintenance. That's what it's. there for, and it's designed that way for transparency to not only the public, but to us. Mainly the court. It's the interest of the public.
I'm on call 24/7, and I answer either I'm here or I'm not.
Thank you, Renee. Tom, you got that to put 20,000 additional in building maintenance. Okay, thank you.
All the grant numbers, that's what flag per map numbers from them, so that's what all the numbers come from. That's kind of what the numbers, as they say, it's just what the revenue last, budget that the county was. Library, I agree with those.
Hey, Judge, if I may, page 4, this is item.
4 of what?
21.
4 of 21.
It's under expense department, 634, technology court fees. There's, let me get there. Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner, on what line item?
It's
Technology court fees?
Yes, sir. There's 4 of them, 30.
So there's the justice of the pieces, that's their tech fees.
Yes, sir. And so I'd like to say thank you to Judge Rosacqua and Judge Sotelo, because when I came in, I stopped them and asked them what they were. Apparently, this is the transfer over. Tom did mention, I think, this to me yesterday as well, that it's a 2-year process. It takes a while, so that's why we continually have to budget this until we finally get off the waiting list. So I just wanted to acknowledge that in transparency.
On that page, we have electronic purchases for JP1 and JP3. Is that something different than what Jimmy would handle for us, or is?
Electronic purchases, is that's the magistration?
Video medicine.
Yeah.
The video mag?
So Tom, I think you might have already answered my question, but if I backed up to page 2, there's miscellaneous expenses that in the previous year were 0, but we have $89,410 for miscellaneous expense and and that's so you have a balanced budget?
Same thing on these, to balance the budget, we do this line item or departmental line item.
Okay.
One on that same page, that was obvious overall library, we're not voting for subscription without West. So that's West as well.
Page 5 of 21, under 645, pre-trial diversion funds. I don't see that we've spent any money in the last 3 years. I just would like more insight on.
The top, yeah, I think just stepped out, but a lot of what the criminal court is doing now on some specific offenses is that they're not a bad offense. If it's a marijuana under 2 ounces, it would cost so much money to take it to DPS lab to test it, to even do anything with it. And so they put them on a pre-trial diversion with a $500 fine typically, and that's what you're seeing. I see yawning out there. It's a little after 5. I'm happy to close for today. and we can reconvene tomorrow. But is tomorrow with Michelle, on tomorrow's budget workshop meeting, or we can continue to go, guys, I'm fine with it either way. All we have left is,
Judge, I have one more question.
Okay.
And then I'm done, I think.
hold on.
Because I don't have, 7 and 8.
Okay, they want to keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least address those. If you want.
Well, we have Judge on, page 17 of 21, Rugby Library, Department 654, the Rugby Library expenses, is 0.
Rugby library expenses, 7,500, 7,500.
They weren't requesting that. That's their donation funds. that they
Donation,
get,
yeah.
And they're not gonna be foreseeing anything that they wanna use it for this coming budget year, so.
I just want to make sure you're
We're
there.
adding numbers for our cities.
I double checked
Donation,
the
that's
rest
good.
of them.
Thank you.
Report out, Nancy, just budgeted $1 million, like Judge mentioned earlier.
Page 7, number 175, 635, 4067, hotspots and air cards for the emergency management coordinator. Is he going to require a separate one, or is that going to go under IT again?
I like
It should be under mine, because I already assigned it.
360.
635, 40,
So our
57.
budget's new for us this year, because it's.
Yeah, it is. Neatest decision budget workshop was 6 o'clock on Thursday.
I will ask the same question about the electronic purchases for emergency management coordinator, $2,000. Is that something different from the computer that Jimmy would handle, or is that?
Whenever Shelby was doing that, he would put that in there, electronic purchases, if we had to buy just something out of the blue on an emergency. It's just such a specialized budget that, but like I told Justin, emergencies don't occur Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Okay. I questioned even asking this because in an emergency situation, I know you can need the funds right then and there, but we've got $240,130.64 for contingency, which is increased from 207,554, which is an increase from 180,000, which is an increase of 41,000. To spend the money out of a contingency fund like that, how much oversight is there? Can he spend $240,000?
There will be a ton of oversight with $250,000. A ton, I promise you. It would come before the court.
Okay.
Just to see a dollar sign.
Judge is thinking about the radio tower we have over there and all the other things it needs.
I made notes here about some of the libraries we're increasing our expenditure on books. Okay. I looked at the wrong line on this one. This is page 16 for the Runge Library, 250, 654, 5,900. We had 20,000 budgeted. It's increased to 30,000. It looks like we spent 6,342 this year.
The budget season is not over yet, Commissioner. They will look and they will see a lot of times what you'll see is they will take summertime and then go through, John, correct me if I'm wrong, and then they'll go in and they'll make a big purchase towards the end.
Well, the year prior, they spent $11,000 on books.
Yeah.
And then the year before that, they spent $12,000 in books. I thought 20 would be sufficient for a continuation. I don't understand why going up to 30.
These prices have increased also.
John said prices have increased a lot also.
And I know she just recently made a big purchase, about $5,000 in books. Recently.
So what you're doing with the 30 is just being safe, seeing what you're gonna spend this year?
Yeah.
Our library is still to beat us up too bad. Maybe we can-
They've always been good.
Court, that was all of my questions.
Any other questions from commissioners? Item number 7, discuss, approve, disapprove, approve publication of proposed salaries, expenses, or allowances for elected officials or precinct officials, and approve publication. That is, we won't have any increases that I've heard. Just the longevity. Perfect. Action item.
I'll make the motion to approve item number 7 as presented.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, discuss, approve, disapprove, setting proposed tax rate, tax year 2025, and that is tax code 26.065B. Ms. Tammy with us.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
It's after 5 o'clock. For the 2025 worksheet that we did, the values went down slightly. The adjusted for 2024 were 10.6, and for 2025, the adjusted were 10.3. So they went down just a little bit. The no new revenue tax rate came out to be 0.241058. The voter approval rate came out to be 0.284611, and the de minimis was 0.245986.
Historically, whenever you say 10 and 10, that's 10 with a B.
Yeah.
Billion. 10 billion.
10 billion.
We did go down a little bit, but not a lot.
10 billion, it went down just a little bit.
Historically, for the court, some of you know this, we've been sticking with the no new revenue tax rate. And as you heard Ms. Broadway present, that is 0.241058.
Yes,
It's a
that is
slight increase from the 0.234499 that we had last year. But that's what.
Very small increase.
I'll make the motion to approve item number 8 as presented.
And that tax rate is, you need to choose what the tax rate that you want to use. The no new revenue of 0.0241058, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Does your second still stand?
Yes.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
And this needs to be a record vote for the tax rate, because it has to be over 60%, so this would be unanimous for everybody.
Yes.
Okay. And when are we going to have the meeting to adopt?
Meeting to adopt will be on the 12th. I think we have it in our.
Senate. Just so I need to add it.
Yeah. double check with her.
Okay.
And make sure that, I think that it's on the 12th.
Thank you.
Item number 9 is discuss / take action on proposed budget for fiscal year 2025. I think we beat it up pretty good this year. Overall, I feel like, again, I'm not going to present the commissioners with a bad budget. I prepared the budget as a taxpayer, and so I keep that in mind. But overall, felt like a good discussion for the most part.
Judge, I make a motion to approve the budget, item 9, considered on the budget, proposed budget for fiscal year 2025.
Okay, and with that,
With the corrections.
with the corrections, and we'll identify those corrections whenever, at the next one, okay, at the next meeting. Well, no, we won't have a budget workshop tomorrow. Yeah, the 12th will be our regularly scheduled commissioners court meeting.
What was the second?
Commissioner Missy, or Commissioner.
No, it's not.
Make the arm wrestle for it. Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 10, acknowledge Commissioners Court will not reconvene. Commissioners Court is going to gather for their regularly scheduled Commissioners Court meeting. I believe that it is August 12th at 9 o'clock in the morning. Do you remember if it's over there or over here? And then that's what I'm gonna say, but the published stamp from Miss Jamie will have to correct mine, but I believe that it is 9 o'clock and it's over at the store in Portland. Before we adjourn, I went to the Conoco uranium meeting yesterday, and I believe Commissioner Beatrick went to the one yesterday evening. It was past 4:30, so Glennis is not there. Glennis and Jenny are not there, but if anybody's still concerned about the Conoco and wants to learn about the uranium movement, Conoco and their team will be at Nordheim ISD tomorrow morning starting at 10:30. So if you're curious about that, you weren't able to make 3 of them, the 3 that we had yesterday. Nordheim is a short drive away, and it's a really nice highway down most of it anyways. Item number 11, we need a motion to adjourn, and we can go home.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.